All right, so very warm welcome to everyone. Thanks for joining us again. Thanks for that nice little chat you had. So let's dive into the teaching for today. Just going to share my screen with you. I'm going to have a look at the emails. Everyone getting emails okay?
Yeah.
It's just everyone getting the emails?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, can everyone see that? Excellent. All right, so who wants to read the quote?
I can.
Excellent.
Healing only strengthens. Magic always tries to weaken. Healing perceives nothing in the healer that everyone else does not share with him. Magic always sees something special in the healer, which he believes he can offer as a gift to someone who does not have it. He may believe that the gift comes from God to him, but it's quite evident that he does not understand God if he thinks he has something that others lack. What's the magic? What's magic?
Okay, yeah, so maybe that quote needs a little bit of unpacking. So magic is when you're using the mind, the ego mind, to try and solve the problem. In this case, you've got some kind of physical problem, illness, on the level of form. So it says, go to a doctor, take a pill, get a treatment, have an operation, whatever, whatever the treatment is, to try and fix the problem on the level of form. And it focuses on the body being healed, not on the mind. So the special healer, the healer believes
that's a not real thing.
Yeah, it's all illusory means of healing. Something special in the healer, which he believes he can offer as a gift. So the magic healer would be someone who says, believes I've got some kind of special gift, which he can offer as a gift to someone who does not have it. So he may believe the gift comes from God to him, but it's quite evident he does not understand God if he thinks he has something that others lack. Because it's the same awareness. God is pure formless awareness and perfect love. So actually, true healing is sharing that presence or awareness. I'll share a story from Eckhart Tolle's life, which I heard him talking about the other day. He said when he started his his career as a teacher, he would do one-on-one sessions with people. And so one day he was sitting with an ex-nun, and he just was sitting in a state of presence, in this awareness, and she was sharing her story, and then she suddenly said, "Oh, I can feel the healing happening." She felt something happening in her body, and she said, "Oh, you must be a healer." I said, "Oh, really?" It's interesting because he wasn't doing anything; he was just sitting in presence, listening in that very calm, open state. And so then, for a while, that word sort of got out that he was a healer, and people would come trying to get healing for their ailments. So, I hear you're a healer. I've got a sore shoulder or whatever, a bad back, or can you heal it? And for a while he sort of went with that. He was like, okay, well, maybe I'm a healer. But after a couple of years, he realized that it wasn't actually helpful. That it was really about the healing of the mind. He didn't want to work on the physical level. So he put the word out and said, I'm not a healer. I am not a healer. Don't come to me if you've got a physical condition looking for some kind of magic healing. I'm a spiritual teacher and counselor, which is healing on another level. It's still healing, but not not on that level. Someone actually said to me, the greatest, someone with a B who's the greatest healer, and I couldn't get it. I was like, who B? Because I wasn't thinking in terms of a spiritual teacher. You see, actually, I mean, it was the Buddha, but you don't think of Buddha overtly as a healer, do you? He was a teacher, and an avatar, great, master, spiritual master. Rather than a healer. I mean, just if you call him a healer, it would have diminished what he actually did. Does that kind of explain it, Lynn?
Yeah, no, I get it now. Yeah.
So I'm going to be aware of someone who says, I've got something special. You have to come to me for the healing, because the truth is all healing's from the Holy Spirit, and that's universal, so universally shared.
Once I learned the connection with our emotions and thoughts and beliefs causing our ailments, I've never been to a doctor since. So
yeah,
a medical doctor, I mean.
Yeah, because that's magic. You're saying,
doctor. Once I knew that, it made no sense to go and.
Yeah, I mean, if you had to have a hip replacement or something mechanical done, maybe it makes sense. It's not, but most of our ailments originate, purely in the mind.
Yeah.
Even a hip replacement does, because it's part of the degenerative condition of the ego, but it's more mechanical. It's like, so your hip is worn out. At the highest level, I suppose it would be possible to restore it. It is stem cells and can repair things. It is possible, but you would then just take guidance. But most of the time, most of our illnesses are lifestyles, stress related, and allopathic medicine is really poor at handling those. It doesn't do a good job at all, because their solution is drugs. They'll give you a drug and they'll say, take the drug and that'll make you feel better. But you're not addressing the cause. You're just dealing with it on a symptomatic level, trying to suppress really the symptoms with the drug. And then the drugs obviously have side effects. And I mean, that's a crazy idea that could ever work. And yet it's a $1 trillion industry. Just shows you the delusion of the ego. That magic healing is a very powerful program in the human mind. We want someone or something else outside of us to fix it, and so
people don't want to feel the pain as well, that's the easy bit to understand. People don't want to feel the pain, so they don't realize that they can heal themselves. Lots of people don't, and that's why they go for that stuff, unfortunately. But like you say, then they're stuck, I've got friends, they keep saying, I've been to the doctors and they put me on this tablet, and I said, well, that's all they're ever going to do. They're either going to offer you a tablet or an operation, so if you don't want those two things, don't go. But if someone hasn't got another means to do it, it's tricky.
Well, yeah. So, if they're not open to spiritual enlightenment, awakening, then where else do you go? You go to the doctor, or an alternative healer. You could go to a Reiki healer. That could be a form of magic, but it's the same thing. You say, well, that's better magic, maybe, but it's still someone external to you, trying to heal you. A good healer would then help that person to awaken to their self in that session. They might do like hands-on healing, but they would help the person to connect with their spirit and come away lighter and freer. A bad one would say, I've got the magic, you have to come to me, you can't heal it, you can't do it yourself.
I would always tell someone that, because I do Reiki, but I would tell them that
which is what he's ever
I'm not the person healing them. It's just helping them to realize they can heal themselves.
Yeah. So they might just need the intervention. You bringing something in that they can't access themselves. So that would be a miracle, bringing it in for them so that they can start accessing it themselves, opening the channels, and then from there maybe they go on a spiritual path, because you could talk about A Course in Miracles and give them some ideas of how they could systematically and progressively heal their mind.
What I've noticed lately, what's really standing out for me lately is just having a conscious conversation with someone, and then the miracles happen in the silence, in the gaps in the words, and around us. It's like it's so obvious to me, even on, you
Mm.
know, having it on Zoom, and we've just been present and speaking and allowing with no story to it, and it just changes things.
Mm.
It's
Yes.
I feel like saying it's magic, but you know, it's all right, it's a miracle.
We know what you mean, but the thing with the course has got a very specific terminology. So you stick to the terminology, otherwise it gets confusing. You know, you say magic, but you mean miracle, then it gets confusing, doesn't it? It uses very specific terms. Magic is the ego. It's trying to fix it on the level of form. It's saying, only that that form is form is real. Basically, that's what it's saying. So if you look at integral model, it's a focus on the exterior quadrants, isn't it? Objective. Okay, so allopathic medicine, based on the ego's thought system that only the external is real. It's based on a Newtonian physical idea that, yeah, the body is some kind of objective machine, because that was the paradigm out of which modern medicine arose. And we can then treat it as such. It's a machine. It's got, biochemistry. It's got working parts, and we can do things to it. We can manipulate it to heal it, but no consideration of the mind, that actually the body and the mind are integrally connected. That wasn't in the consciousness of the people who invented modern medicine. And largely it's still not. It started to, the more sort of advanced enlightened medics will say, yes, there's a connection, body mind, but I'm not sure they teach it at medical schools. So there's no like they have their the domain of medicine dedicated to the mind is psychiatry, and that's its own specialization, but they haven't integrated it into the whole and said, okay, actually, you can really help someone mentally by applying these kinds of things, mindfulness, and so on. Even in psychiatry, I mean, I had an interesting engagement with a psychiatrist. So guy went to my school a couple of years ago, and we were trying to bring mindfulness into that system, just to the staff to start with. So I spent like two months, quite a lot of time in a psychiatric hospital to deliver this program there's a test program to the staff. And actually out of that was born a lot of this, because I realized that, okay, I could do this for people who are more open. The staff weren't really that open. They were sort of coerced. Some of them that felt coerced, and there was a huge resistance to it. In the end, the hospital said, no, we're not going to pay for this. And I ran one session for patients. Oh my goodness, what a drama that was. You have no idea. I ran a session because the staff weren't showing up. So I went and pulled in a couple of patients, said, oh, you know what, we're just doing a half-an-hour meditation. Would you like to join? And they did. Oh my goodness, ructions. Oh no, we can't do that. That's dangerous. The psychiatrists need to give approval. Like, my God, they sat for 20 minutes just breathing. Like, what could possibly be the problem with that? But it's a paradigm, isn't it? It's the external. They're saying, no, the paradigm is we do it with drugs, and this is a system.
Yes.
And it's a business model. You see what it does is it threatens the business model. Because if you really do start to heal people internally, they don't need any of that. They don't need to go to
stop selling medications.
I have experience of this sort of thing as well. And it's not just that, it's that whilst they're sitting in that space, they're facing the stuff that the medication is pushing down, and the staff aren't equipped to deal with that.
Yeah.
Are they? Do you know what I mean? And when people are actually their stuff is coming to the surface. Now, if you've got modality that you can help them use when stuff comes to the surface, that's really important. I mean, all of us are okay. We've got our own tools, but if you're working with people who are actually sectioned, the likelihood is they haven't got tools, and it is going to be bringing stuff to the surface, isn't it?
Well, then that would be the tools. You would give them the tools in the psychiatric, in the place.
It's got to be part of it, not just sitting and meditating.
Yeah.
So and the staff would be scared of that, because they've got all these people who are having a meltdown because all their stuff's coming up for them.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Bless them.
Yeah. So it was like a disruption to the whole system, and it was very clear it wasn't going to work. that they didn't actually want it. They made the right noise. Oh yes, we want our staff to do this. We want to support our staff. But when it came, push came to shove of like, okay, we're actually going to invest some money in this. We didn't want to. And then COVID hit 6 months later. So the program probably would have been stillborn anyway, even if they had gone, because COVID would have kiboshed it. So, so I realized from that experience that you can't really change a broken system. That entire system needs to go, really. It's not a functional system. It's based on a paradigm that's incorrect. And we need an alternative medical system, really, that is not focused on the external. It's not based on the scientific materialist paradigm. It's based on the paradigm that, yes, the integral model, mind and body are connected, and primarily healing is of the mind, and that you should guide the patients to heal their minds through the treatments, because that's more powerful than anything you do on the physical level. So it would be a totally different orientation.
But it's the same in the school system, education system, because I try to bring also this modality meditation into like wellness sessions and meditation into school, and it's like, oh no, we cannot do that, and I couldn't even like promote to the parents, like he didn't want me to do any communication whatsoever, so they're completely closed to bring these modalities in some of the public schools. So I guess maybe the private schools might be more open, but it's very hard to get it. It's also like the broken system, because it's like it's that way and there's no other way, that's like they're very close to any new approach of helping the children. It's like, again, it's a business structure. And
it's part of the same system. You see, what you start to see is that it's the same mindset that's repeated over and over in medicine, in business, in education. In the society we've created, the external, the interobjective is the systems, the networks, the technology. The default is a thought system. It's a product of a scientific materialist thought system that thinks that the external world is all that's real. What you can see, feel, measure, and touch is what's real. So you get focused on the body, on material things, on the objective reality of things, and you forget about the interior quadrants. You don't really pay much attention to that, even though education is obviously about training the mind. They don't really acknowledge that, primarily it's about helping children mentally, emotionally, psychologically to become functional adults.
Well, that's why there's so much violence and like suicidal attempts in the teenagers, or a lot of children, and the bullying and all these things that are coming up and rising up more than ever before is because of that. Because there's no like space for expression or expressing, what's happening in your mind and helping them through that. So there's that's where
teenage years, childhood, teenage, it's lots of them, we don't have emotional control yet. So there's all kinds of stuff boiling up, and the system doesn't acknowledge that. There's no like, okay, we're doing a once a week expression session to help you to deal with it.
I have to stop you now. You have to stop, because you're focusing on the negative. This is the old paradigm. The new paradigm is changing. There are some GPs who recommend mindfulness and breath work instead of medication, especially for long-term psychological problems. They recommend mindfulness. It's more often than not. I've got two friends who did Reiki for the NHS, and one who was actually doing psychic surgery for the NHS. There are some schools, it depends on the head. If the head is on board with all of this, then the head will introduce meditation and mindfulness and breath work in the sessions. And occasionally you hear this. So we want to just
coming in. I agree.
It is coming in, and it's coming in more. And the more we do this, the more we're going to see them.
The more likely, So there's a paradigm
that's focused on opening to our awareness and of what we want to see, then the more we're going to see that happening. And all these kids that are coming in as autistic, they are the ones that are changing the world for us. So there we go. Sorry, I had to stop you because you were kind of going into this negative spiral, and it's not what we're here for, is it?
No. I mean, but it's useful to see, what the system is. You go, okay, so that's what it is.
It's our perception of what the system is. It's our perception. It's no different from anything else. It's our perception of what the system is. So if we have a different perception, we're going to see something different, aren't we? It's going to come to our awareness.
It's to see the truth from the illusion, you know, to see the difference between the paradigms and go, okay, you can't actually, what I realized was you can't fix that paradigm. You have to change. It needs to be undone. You know, the system based on false thinking must be undone, and a new system replace it based on truth. And that's, you know, I think in the next couple of decades we're going to see a lot of that, because the systems don't serve us anymore. And as the mind shifts, individuals shift, the culture shifts, then naturally that's expressed in the external as different behaviors and different patterns of behavior. And you know, I think we're in the process of a profound transformation in human society, witnessing. And then, you know, we are the change agents. You're here for a reason, to be part of that process, to be an active participant and agent of it, rather than just a passive observer, saying, well, you know, someone else do it. No, it's like, well, you do it. You know, you take this into the schools. You be the one to challenge the paradigm, say, no, this is incorrect, or create another system, you know, based on spirit. We could create, you know, completely different systems, and that's what I believe needs to happen. All of it needs to fundamentally change, because it's all an interlocking system. It doesn't really serve humanity, and it's actually life destructive, which is why we're having the kinds of you know, on a global scale, pollution and degradation of environment and all that, because it's a destructive system. So we see then the effects of it mirrored in the external.
If you know anybody who can, if you know anyone that can fill in forms, I know when I did charity work, I did some emotional acceptance with kids at school, just about good and bad feelings, and starting that way. But I think if you look at the funding, I mean, we knew somebody who was really good at doing it, but then the funding stopped. That's the only thing. But it did give you the leeway of going in and trying something different. But it's everybody's after that money, aren't they? But you have to put that to one side sometimes, and like you say, have a look at a different perspective and go in. But yeah, I think you just got to find your own way, ain't you, in that way?
Yeah, well, you know, listen to guidance. If the spirit is guiding it all, isn't it? One-man plan. Then that part of that one-man plan would be, how does it reflect in the external? You know, the interlocking chain of miracles would do this. It would change the its and the it profoundly. And if we all do our parts, you know, and the interlocking chain of miracles starts to work miracles on a bigger level. So all you can do is listen. You listen to your guidance and you follow. That can change the world. It really can. We've seen that. You know, look at Yeshua, the Buddha, that one person profoundly listening to spirit, being guided, and it did change the world. Profoundly changed so-called objective reality from that person's subjective experience, because it was extended out and people believed in the ideas, and then, you know, based on Yeshua's experience, we then had the whole Christian church system developing, which a lot of it was not what he would have intended, but the fact is it profoundly changed the world. And it did introduce the key ideas of forgiveness and mercy and compassion and a loving God to the Western world, which is quite helpful, because before that they weren't there. So it's all, it's acknowledging, you know, it's not being negative, but it's saying, okay, this is what it is. We see it for what it is, and then there is a transformation, there's a correction, the miracle correction that can happen to thought, and then to the expression of thought, that will bring about the miracles on the external level.
But the danger of seeing it how it is actually then getting involved in the story and not pulling yourself out of that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
saying,
you have to have
this
awareness.
is what I'm seeing everywhere, rather than, and then accepting that's what you're seeing everywhere, that's what it is, rather than focusing on the change. So you just have to be aware, don't you, not to get sucked into that story and just say that.
You realize that it's false,
and none of it's real anyway, is it? None of it is real. It's all just part of our own illusion.
Yeah, all of it. But you know, the miracle would be then showing you that actually the truth is true, and that it has, you know, the benefits show up in the external. It's a more functional system. And that's why it's a Course in Miracles. He's saying, you know, the miracles are more useful now than revelation, because you're operating in time and space, and you need to learn that this thought system is correct. You need to learn the truth through this miraculous process of changing your mind and then seeing how that changes in the external. And then you get the confirmation from the external world, which reinforces that change of mind. You go, oh yeah, that works. You know, this thought system works much better than the other one. Christine's not getting emails. Okay, so we'll talk about that. Christine, still here. Okay, so any other comments on that? Questions? We've looked at the integral model, but it's a useful construct. You can look at it, and it gives you an understanding of the nature of you know, how this world works. A guy called Ken Wilber came up with it. Hugely well-read teacher, philosopher, who tried to integrate everything he'd read, you know, all the different systems, psychological models, spiritual teachings, philosophies, and he spent a couple of years just kind of crunching this himself, and he worked out this model in the early 90s. So very helpful. And it encompasses, it's an all-encompassing model. It encompasses everything. He's also got lines and levels. There's levels of development, and there's states of awareness, and so on. And if you can go and be more into it, understanding. I think for me, what's key is understanding the aspects of the miracle. When Yeshua talks about a miracle, he's talking about a correction, an internal shift in your subjective perception. And then the external world is the reflection of that. So the external aspect of the miracle is what shows up in time and space as a shift, as a change. And he's saying sometimes, you know, that's when you perform a miracle, that's what he's talking about. It's a change in perception, but then something changes here. So it involves action. Miracles induce action. So he's talking about it in the two different aspects, the internal and then the external, and both of that he calls the miracle. You know, that's a really aspect of the same thing. The one reinforces the other. Constructively, we're using it to confirm the truth rather than deny illusions, and that's a profound shift from okay, let's go back here. So yeah, if anyone's got any feedback on you know, any of the meditations or breath breaks or anything, just post that. Just gonna close Telegram because this guy's just messaging me. So we'll do some nasal breathing just now, some power breathing, which is another breath technique that's incorporated into most of the meditations. And just wanted to talk a little bit about the benefits of it. So we're going to do some double nostril power breathing, three power breaths, and there's a breath hold in that. And then we'll go into alternate nostril, which breathe through one nostril, out through the other. And this apparently connects the left and right brain hemispheres. So you can think both analytically and intuitively, and both sides of your brain and personality start working together harmoniously. So it's part of this whole brain. We talk, you know, spirit is whole, it's wholeness, and it leads to more wholeness integral model. If you've got a you know, very like oriented towards one side. So let's go back and look at this. That one. Where are we? so-called left brain, analytical, would tend to be right quadrant oriented. The exterior world would be their reality. More left brain, more right brain would be on the left side. It would be more subjective about thoughts, emotions, and whole brain would be able to operate between both quadrants and understand that they're connected, and that there's this relationship going on. It was interesting. We call people like that geniuses, but actually it's just normal. It should be what's normal functioning. To be focused on one or the other is
sorry, I just have to interject again. I don't have to, but I'm sorry, I'm being a bit rude.
Yeah.
Knitting has the same effect, and I've been knitting since
Yeah.
I was 6, so that might account for some of my kind of thought process.
Really, knitting.
They've done some
Yeah.
like MRI scans or whatever they're called, people whilst they're knitting, and they show that both sides of the brain are being lit up because you're using both
Really?
hands. Yeah, so I'm always telling people to knit because it's good for you and it helps to
No, interesting. No.
So you all should be
playing
knitting.
music, playing an instrument,
Absolutely, anything that's
drumming,
two-handed.
drumming, playing piano. I play accordion. That integrates the whole thing, the whole brain.
Photography.
Sorry?
Photography. Yeah.
Photography. I use both my hands and my eyes and everything.
Yeah, that's good. There's so many different things.
Yeah.
So these things seem to, the things that we really enjoy doing are often the ones that connect us. We become more whole in the process. We find the flow, and the more we do that, the more this sort of holistic perception arises in our minds. So there are many ways. Breathwork is just one of them. Of tapping into the same intelligence as these so-called geniuses tapped into. Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein, Buckminster Fuller, all whole brain holistic thinkers who came up with some very interesting stuff in their life, which the world's learned from. So you start tapping in and downloading and bringing it through, expressing it in your life. That same kind of genius is available to you. Okay, so any questions on that? Otherwise, I think let's go into the actual breathing practice. That will be our meditation for today. So what you're going to do is just make yourself comfortable. Ideally, you sit cross-legged doing this, but if that's not possible, sit on a chair. Back straight. Make sure your back is straight. Feet shoulder width apart. So that's the standard meditation posture. Keep the back straight, especially in this one, because you want to raise the energy up the spine. So you want to keep the spine straight. So close your eyes. We do some power breathing first, which you'll probably be familiar with if you've been in the program. It's a long, deep inhale in 3 phases, and then we hold the breath for about 30 seconds in through both nostrils. So breathing in. Notice how the stomach blows up. So the first phase of the breath is into the lower stomach. And I want you to clench your sphincter muscle. That's the muscle used to lock in the energy. It's the muscle used to contract the flow of urine or squeeze the last drops out. It's if you've done yoga, it's the Mula Bandha, it's the base, the root chakra, the root lock. So you lock that in. You feel the lower stomach pulling in. Your pelvis kind of raises up. And the second phase of the breath is into the sort of middle chest. So you second phase into the chest, feel the chest expanding. You maintain that lock, by the way. You keep squeezing. So you can feel there's kind of an energy lock there, and you might feel a bit of warm energy starting to tingle there and maybe moving up your spine as you get more advanced. That will happen more. The third phase of the breath is into the upper chest, and imagine drawing it up into the head. So there's this feeling of energy rising up all the way into the crown. Again, you might feel a little tingling sensation up the back into the crown of your head. So you pause at the top of the inhale. Now just hold the breath. It's a maximal inhale breath. Keep the lock engaged. Squeeze your abdominal muscles, rectus abdominis in and down, and put the chin forward on the chest. So that's a triple lock in your, and so that locks all the energy into the crown. You might feel a bit of pressure, a bit of heat going on in your head. That's normal. You find that getting a little bit panicky because you can't breathe, just kind of go with that for a bit. Just try and push into that for a few more seconds. Just observe the sensations as in your body as you do that. So your mind's been detaching from the body sensations. Just able to observe it, even if it's getting uncomfortable now. And we're gonna exhale. So you're gonna release the locks. You're gonna bring your chin level, and you're going to exhale out your mouth. Just nice, deep, slow, rhythmical. In one smooth exhale, ideally. And you should feel that there's energy that is kind of flowing down. It's gone up the back channel, and now it's flowing down the front channel into the lower stomach. So your energy rests there. Pull the lower stomach again, sharply in, expels the last remaining air out. So it's a maximal inhale and a maximal exhale. You're totally empty now. And see if you can hold the breath in the emptiness for a few moments. Again, just observe sensation, what's going on. You might find it uncomfortable, but observe that sensation for a few moments. Try and raise yourself above it. And then breathe in again. So smoothly into the next inhale. Blow the stomach out. So as though you're breathing into this lower stomach. Clench the sphincter muscle, engage the root lock as you do that. Second phase of the breath into the heart center. So the middle chest goes up. You can put one hand on your heart just to feel into that. And then squeeze the abdominal muscles in and down so that you created a lock there. The energy can't move. Maintain the lock, and then third phase of the breath into the upper chest and the head. So it's a maximal inhale breath. Your lungs are completely full. And then you engage the last lock called Jalabandha. You put the chin down on the chest. So your head's forward and just hold it in stillness and peace for about 30 seconds. And in this space, notice what's coming up. Notice thoughts, emotions, body sensations. Might be quite intense. You might feel heat, tension, pressure. Just don't get too attached to that. Just observe it. This quietness. In the gap between breaths, there's a natural gap in the mind. So use it to go into higher awareness and observe the body sensations without attaching to them. So like the body scan, Vipassana, just observing without attachment, but you're amping it up a bit because the intensity of the sensations is more. Okay, so now going to come up, chin level, and release all those locks as you exhale. So let go of the muscle tension. Blow it out. Nice smooth exhale over about 10 seconds. And feel the energy you raised up into the crown, subsiding down the front channel of your body. Coming to rest in your lower stomach and your groin. Down there, pull the lower stomach in to the spine. And just rest here for a few moments in stillness and peace. And then move smoothly into the next inhale. So no break. Try and make it really smooth, no gaps. Breathe into the lower stomach. clench the sphincter muscle. It's the first phase of the breath. Then second phase into the chest, into the heart center. Put one hand on your heart. If your heart slipped down, just feel that comforting presence in your heart. Bringing your attention into the present moment through the breath and the subtle sensations of the breath. And then you draw the energy up, spine, into the crown of your head. Feel this warm wave of energy perhaps rising up. You've locked the abdominal muscles, so you lock the energy in. It can't escape. That's the idea. It's getting chakra into the crown. When that happens fully, that's a samadhi experience it'll give you. And chin forward. Keep the back straight. Hold the breath. You can hold it a bit longer this time. Just chilling out in the gap between breaths. There's a natural silence. You're just hanging out in the silence. You observe thoughts, emotions, and body sensations without attachment. Whatever's arising can be like heat, pressure in the head. Your body's beginning to feel a bit uncomfortable now. So 30 seconds into holding, just carry on for a few more seconds. Observe that. Try and find some detachment, some space in your mind from the urgency of needing to breathe. Disconnect your mind from the body needs, and that's a profound spiritual practice. Okay, so release the locks. Out through the mouth. Have a sense of that energy just subsiding down to the lower stomach, to the groin. Pull the lower stomach in, so all the air is expelled out. And yeah, just rest to see how long you can hold it for. So you're completely empty, and ideally you should be able to hold it for as long as between the inhale and the exhale. It's probably not going to be possible initially. You might manage a few seconds. Okay, notice sensations. Notice heat, pressure in your body. Notice any panic in your mind, being oxygen deprived. And try and just find a space where you're not really affected by it in your mind. So you're raising yourself up into the awareness beyond the body, creating some intensity to make it a bit more difficult for yourself. And when you can't hold it anymore, just take a normal deep breath in. And just observe now the body, your mind, your sensations, what's going on. Do you feel calmer, clearer, lighter than 10 minutes ago? Did anything arise for you? There's still a feeling there. Just observe it. Just breathing in and out through your nostrils. For a minute or two to just settle in. So we're going to go into an alternate nostril breathing now. So it's the same idea. You're breathing through your nose, except through one nostril at a time. It's a power breath. You do the locks. You hold for about 30 seconds in the gap between inhale and exhale. And you exhale out the other nostril. So I think maybe let's just pause because there might be a few questions. So open your eyes. Any questions so far? I just want to give you a bit of instruction on the alternate nostril before we go into that. How was that?
Good. Very relaxing. Couldn't hold it for as long as you were holding it for, but
That's what I was going to say. I can't hold it for as long as you're still talking and telling us to do the next thing, but I did what I could. I don't find it, I don't know if there's something I'm not getting yet. I probably just need to keep practicing it, but
you didn't find it easy.
I found it really difficult, actually.
Mm.
And I have the
Yeah,
other ones I've tried of yours, you know, I'm not getting it yet, but I'm not used to meditating really. So it's a learning thing for me.
Yeah, it's a breathwork practice, but we'll take you into a meditation state. But I learned it with the from this chap I think I mentioned the other day, who I met completely synchronistically in a print shop, and he learned this technique from the Monaco Olympic team trainer who'd got it from the Russians. So it was actually being used to improve performance. That it improves your functional lung capacity and gives you more endurance for sport. But it's a profound spiritual technique as well. So you're creating some difficulty. You're breathing in, you're holding it, and then you observe the body sensations. Did anyone feel heat, pressure? Did you find you got a bit panicky when you're holding the breath? And that's all part of the transformation process, because you can observe it, but with attachment. And if you can do that, then you're training your mind not to be so attached to the body, and not to get too fussed about uncomfortable body sensations.
I couldn't really understand the different parts of the body. In what? Yeah, no, I didn't understand it. So I'll listen to it again. I don't want everyone to have to listen to what I'm going on about, but
ask the question.
It is one breath, and then you're feeling it in the different parts of the body.
So it's a 3-phase breath. You breathe in the lower stomach, you lock the energy in, you do the root lock. This is just contracting the sphincter muscle. And the second part is into the chest. So it's like, and then.
So at what speed? Because obviously you're talking us through it. When I'm trying to do it at the speed you're saying it,
you can't do it. No. Okay, so well then you need to do it a bit quicker. But with practice you'll be able to do it at that speed, because you breathe in, you've got some air, then you pause a bit, and then inhale, second phase. I mean, I guess if I'm not talking you through it, you could do it quicker. It's like, but try and do it in phases. So it's a max. The idea is you're training yourself to breathe in maximally, to use your entire lung capacity, which most people don't do.
I could kind of do it in the phases, but I felt like I needed to do it quicker. I couldn't do it so slowly, but practice.
Because you felt like you're running out of air. It's like I can't.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. It felt like I was starting to have to hold it in for too long, I expect. Yeah, and I am really stressed at the moment. That's probably affecting it. So, because normally I probably wouldn't find it so hard. So.
Okay. Oh, so it's a practice. Initially when you do it, it's unfamiliar, and holding your breath for 30 seconds may seem like difficult and it's a big deal, but it's not. I mean, if you practice it, 30 seconds should be easy. If you're healthy, you don't have any lung problems, shouldn't be a problem. You can go much longer than that. If you take it to an extreme, you can go minutes. If you go for 3 minutes, you start actually engaging the stem cell production. Interesting thing, because stem cells function in a low oxygen environment. So if you lower the blood oxygen levels to a certain point, stem cells get produced, and they can also then migrate in the bloodstream. So interesting. So you can, like all the stem cell therapy, you can actually do it with your breath if you persevere. But you have to get to sort of 2-3 minutes to get that effect. But that's what the yogis do. That's one of the reasons why they're so young, because they're doing this breath work. And
I need to learn this.
Yeah, there we go. Like giving you incentives. Forget the beauty creams and treatments and Botox and all that stuff. Just breath work. Do it for you. I've done a lot of this in my time. I can hold my breath for an extraordinary length of time, and I look a lot
You've got
younger.
no wrinkles.
Yeah, I mean, so it's got to be, there's got to be. If I look at most people who are 50, they don't look like this.
No.
But it's because I've done all the spiritual practice,
Yeah.
holding,
No.
breath.
I've seen it in other people, so I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, it's never too late to start.
No.
Just doing a practice like this and starting to extend the breath hold, it's got profound benefits. So if you can integrate it into your spiritual practice, what I do, you'll know if you've done the breath breaks, is in the breath breaks you're always getting one power breath. That's the start. It's like setting you into it. You hold the breath, then we do a mind scan in that space, because it's a great space. You're just holding your breath and you're hanging out there, and then you can scan the body, scan the mind, come into awareness. And then with the exhale, there's a natural tendency to release. So you can then release the negative thoughts and emotions. So it's integrated into the meditations and the breath work, but you can do it as a practice on its own as well.
I haven't done the breath breaks actually. I've been trying to really do I've been trying to focus on doing the longer ones, but
yeah, well, next week we'll go into doing the course lessons, and then I'll introduce little breath breaks with these techniques, so they're embedded in it. But I thought it's useful in the first week just to give you the actual technique in its pure form.
Yeah,
So
okay.
you can learn it properly, and then you could do this if power breathing really works for you. You could do 5-10 minutes of it easily as part of your spiritual practice. If you do extended breath holding, it takes you into huge amounts of peace. There's a technique called Kriya Yoga. You hold for extended periods, and the peace that it brings you. You kind of break through a barrier. You can let go of needing to breathe. You just go into bliss. It's amazing. But that's advanced. We're not going to do that on this course. If anyone wants to go there and talk.
One thing at a time.
Holding their breath for 5 minutes. No.
That's like to
anyone
prepare yourself to be in the cold, or to go in the North Pole or something. Yeah. It trains your mind to this kind of
Tumo breathing. It's not Tumo breathing, but it's probably similar. Tumo breathing in Tibet, they do this breathing to raise their body temperature, and they can stay out in minus 20 degree weather, in snow, freezing cold, just with normal clothes, just with a robe or something, and they're fine. Yeah, they won't freeze because the heat is internal. So yeah, we're not going to go that extreme, but it just shows you what's possible. And you Wim Hof
that's the one I've practiced, the Wim Hof. I was telling you the other day.
Wim Hof does breathing that raises your body temperature, so you can sustain the cold. And
yeah, because the Cape Town waters are really cold. I've actually needed to do that Wim Hof, to go in the water in Cape Town, really? Especially the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, it's really very freezing, cold temperature.
Yeah. So there's a whole modality. Yeah, we just touching on it in the first week of this course, but breathwork is there's many amazing techniques out there. This is just kind of the tip of the iceberg, really. But if you can, the key is to integrate into your practice. You actually practice it, and you're doing some of them. Can't do it all, but if you can do some power breathing as part of your daily routine, and you do some breath watching, that's pretty good. So the breath watching and power breathing are sort of integrated into the breath breaks. So if you do those, then you're doing the technique. Okay. Any other comments, questions, thoughts?
Yes,
on that?
I felt what you say, the out of breath, like kind of like needing air, and like in the first few breaths we just took, I felt like I was like going to burst out of air, or like lacking air, oxygen. But after like during the last two we did, was I could see already improvement. I could observe already that I was able to hold longer without that suffocate, that kind of feeling of suffocating or lacking air.
Well, it's an interesting idea. I mean, in the yogic tradition, I listened to this I'll see if I can find it and maybe post it to the group. There's an Indian doctor who's written a book on this, and so he was trained in Western medicine, but then he applied that sort of analytical mind to the yogic teachings, and wrote a book about it. He's saying that these practices work from a physiological point of view. Why do yogic practices work? And he discovered things like what I told you about the stem cells. That one of the reasons why the yogis stay younger is because it stimulates stem cell production, and it allows the stem cells in a low oxygen environment. Because that's, if you think about it, in the womb, it's a low oxygen environment. The baby's not breathing; it's getting its oxygen from the umbilical cord, from the mother. So it's 2-3% oxygen environment. So if you mimic that, then it would mimic the environment in which stem cells grew initially. So makes a lot of sense. But you have to hold breath for 2-3 minutes to get your blood oxygen levels down to that low level, you see. But it's powerful if you do. If you can have the discipline to hold it, then it like switches things on in the body and regenerates the body in a way that they're trying to mimic that with stem cell production and stuff, but you can do it naturally through the breath, just with a bit of discipline. So persevere with it. It's some powerful stuff in there, and it's part of, you've done Vipassana. So if you apply the Vipassana, the observing, okay, so you've just created more intensity. When I did the Vipassana, I was like, okay, I want to amp this up a bit. So I do some breath holding, which wasn't what they taught me to do, but I like to play. So I'm like, okay, so let's see. If I hold the breath and then I do a body scan, and I'm holding my breath for minutes at a time while I'm body scanning, what happens? I found it quite interesting. It kind of takes up the intensity a bit. So the intensity of the emotions and the body sensations is higher, and so then you can just like zone out and just witness that. So it creates a bit more of you're basically creating a little mini crisis in your mind and body by holding the breath and then going, okay, but I'm in control of this, and I'm just going to go into my higher awareness. I'm going to check it out. I'm just going to observe it. And so you're upgrading your capacity to deal with difficulty in a process like this. Do you see that?
Did you ever fall asleep? Because I remember even sitting, I was like, I fell asleep. Fell asleep meditating, like, oops, and I caught myself back. I'm like, whoa, where am I? And I'm falling, sleeping.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of sort of go into alpha states and zone out a bit, but I'm not sure I ever fell fully asleep because it's uncomfortable. It's difficult to fall asleep when you're that.
Well, you feel yourself falling at some point, and you're just like, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you're just like, interesting. Yeah. So we'll do some Vipassana tomorrow, where we just do breath, a body scan, and you observe. But you start to see that it's all leading to the same place. All the different modalities, you can actually play with them and integrate them quite nicely. So yeah, any other questions, comments on that? Otherwise, we're going to go into an alternate nostril. So that's double power breathing. Which I normally do 3. You could do more, but you do 3 power breaths, and then go into alternate nostril. We do 3 sets. In through the left. Let me actually just show you and demonstrate this to be useful. So you're going to hold your right hand and put your index finger on your third eye, just in the above the bridge of your nose. Then you're going to use your right thumb to block the right nostril, as I'm demonstrating. Right? You're going to breathe in through the left nostril, which is open. In the same way, 3-phase power breaths into the lower stomach, lock and hold, lock the root chakra, middle chest, into the heart center. You can put one hand on the heart, the other hand on the heart if you like to feel into that. Final one into the crown of the head. Then you would lock, keep those locks engaged, keep the back straight. You'd hold for 30 seconds. You come up, chin level, and you switch it. So you take the index finger, the right hand, and you block the left nostril. When you exhale out the right nostril. Yeah? So you just you toggle between the thumb blocking the right nostril and the middle finger blocking the left one. Block the left nostril out through the right. Full exhale over about 10 seconds. Release the locks, and you just pause.
Sorry, I got lost in translation.
A few seconds.
I got lost in translation. Do you breathe in and out through the same nostril, or you breathe in through one nostril and out through the other nostril?
In through the left and out through the right.
Oh, okay.
Then once you've done that, out in through the right and then out through the left. Okay, so then you would go the next breath would be in through the right. You'd keep the left nostril blocked. You do the triple lock, 3-phase breath. You lock and hold for 30 seconds. Then you switch it. You block the right nostril with the thumb, and you exhale out the left nostril, which is now open. Over maybe 10 seconds. Try and hold it for as long as you can between the exhale and the next inhale. I'll try and pause it for maybe 5-10 seconds. So you're completely empty. And then again, observe. If you feel a bit panicky, just observe that sensation, but try not to react to it by going into breath, and don't break the form of it. You just try and do it really smoothly. And then you move smoothly into the next inhale. So that inhale through left, out through right, inhale through right, out through left is one set, one cycle or set. So we're going to do 3 sets of cycles. So then you're going to go inhale left, out right, inhale right, out left, and one more inhale left, out right, inhale right, out left. And that's the session. So if you do 3 power breaths to warm you up, and then you do 3 sets, which is 6 breaths, you've done 9 breaths, and that might take you 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how long you're holding. And it's a nice little breathwork session. Okay. So any questions? All good? Can we go into the alternate nostril then? Aurelie, anyone else?
I'm doing it.
Okay. So, what I'd suggest for this is maybe put your cameras on so I can actually see you. So
okay, yes.
There's
No,
problems I can say. There's problems with the technique. I can say, okay, it's just like whatever.
I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. I'm like, am I breathing out of that one? Because this nostril's like half blocked, so I'm really struggling with the left nostril.
Okay. Yeah. So this will unblock your breathing as well. A little tip to unblock a nostril. You can get some sesame oil, dip a Q-tip in the sesame oil, and sniff it up one of the nostril that's blocked.
Somebody accidentally headbutted me. It's that kind of block, not a temporary.
Right.
Years ago, so it's my septum's pushed over that side, so it's a little bit tricky.
Right. Okay. Well, just do the best that you can. It might actually clear that if you do this through the left nostril. It might help to open that up.
Okay.
Might have some healing. So just follow. You're not on your own. Just follow my my directions. I'll say hold. Then through the left nostril, block the right nostril, hold. So just follow the instruction. I see you obviously doing it incorrectly. I'll say okay, just modify that. So all right. So let's start it, shall we? So put your right hand, touch your third eye with your index finger. That's the second finger, if anyone doesn't know. Block the right nostril with your thumb, hold it down, and then breathe in through the left nostril. So into the lower stomach, blowing that up like a balloon. Squeeze the sphincter muscle to lock the energy in. Second phase of the breath. Into the heart center. You can put one hand on your heart just to connect with the heart energy. Squeeze the abdominal muscles in and down. So this is the side abdominal muscles. You lock those in. You keep that root lock engaged. And then try and get back into it. And then breathe in to the upper chest and into the head. Feel like the energy is rising up. That's the third phase of the breath. When you hold there, you push the chin down to the chest. Keep holding the right nostril, so you are aware of which phase of the breath you're in. And then just observe what's going on in your thoughts, emotions, body sensations. There's intensity arising, just observe that. Try not to freak out. Go into the state of just being the witness. Hold it for a few more seconds. Now you're going to switch. So block the left nostril with your middle finger. Come up, so your chin is level. You release the locks and simultaneously exhale out the right nostril. So exhale out the right nostril in a nice smooth flow. So 5 to 10 seconds, maximal exhale breath. And then at the bottom of the exhale, pull the lower stomach into the spine. So you expel, you feel a short, sharp exhalation, expel the last remaining air out. Just rest here. See if you can rest for a few moments. Observe sensations again, observe thoughts. Don't freak out because you haven't got air. You're about to get some more. So keep the left nostril blocked and then inhale through the right one. So maximal inhale breath to the lower stomach, blowing that up. Clench the sphincter muscle to lock the root lock in, lock the energy in. Then second phase of the breath into the heart center, middle chest, rises. Put the left hand on the heart, if you like, just to anchor into the heart state. Squeeze the abdominal muscles in and down, so you lock the energy in. Third phase of the breath into the upper chest and into the head. You feel like you're raising the energy up the spine all the way into the crown of your head. You pause at the top of the inhale. Keep those locks engaged. Put the chin down. So it's a Chalabandha lock. And again, observe. Quietly observing what's going on. Your energy, what's happening in your body, your mind, body sensations arising. Try and find peace in the intensity. So there's a stillness in the eye of the storm that you've created. And if you can access that, you're training your mind to stay in peace no matter what. So now you come up, release the chin lock, so chin level, block the right nostril. And with the thumb out through the left. Exhale out. Nice smooth exhalation. Out through the left nostril. Smooth exhale. Try and keep the form smooth. And pull the lower stomach in. Expel the last remaining air out. Hold the breath briefly. Just observe again. Thoughts, emotions, sensations arising. Try and hold it for a few more seconds. And then you would move smoothly into the next inhale. But let's pause there. So everyone managing?
Is everyone holding their breath for that long?
No. I have to take about 4 breaths for the time.
Oh, okay. That was like 3. Oh, my word.
Yeah. Well, I'm only holding you for about 30 seconds, 30 to 40 seconds. So, but if you can't do that, then work up to it. You know, if you can only do 10 or 20, then you can practice.
I run out of breath when you do the bit that comes up to here, like I'm like, oh.
You're running out of breath straight away. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can hold it. I can hold it while I move it up my body. But then it gets to there and I'm like, oh no. But I tell you what, I could feel my cells starting to shake when things are changing. I can tell, because it's like all my cells start to wobble. So I can totally see the point of doing it now, because I was like, this just feels stressful. But now that's happened, I can see.
Yeah. Yeah, you're shaking things up, and things start to come alive with this kind of practice. So yeah, as I said, it fountain of eternal youth, the elixir of life. But it's on the other side of the discomfort. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with this technique that easily. You've got to persevere. But I mean, with a bit of practice, 30 seconds shouldn't be a big deal for any of you.
30 seconds. 30.
30 seconds. Yeah, that's all it was. It was about 30 to 40 seconds I was holding you for.
I was doing 20 seconds.
I'm going to start recording it when I practice, see if it gets longer.
Yeah, well, it should do. You get, I just practiced this over and over, and eventually it's just like, minutes go by, and you can just stay in that really still state, just observing. It's really peaceful. It's like, and then at some point you break through the breath barrier and you don't need to breathe anymore, because actually you need to breathe because it's a pattern. It's a subconscious programmed pattern in your body mind system, and you get stressed when that's not happening, because it's so habitual, right? But if you can break that, it's just another pattern. You actually don't need to breathe for long periods. You don't.
And then you'll be less stressed. Yeah.
Wasn't that a lot longer though? Surely that was longer than 30 or 40 seconds. I know I can hold my breath easily that long, but it wasn't happening. I know I can hold it for 30 or 40 seconds.
Well,
but
after the third one, then I'm holding you for maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah, all right. So overall,
you're getting more air in. Yeah, but then you're breathing in. So the final, you've got some breath in, and then from that point it's maybe 30, 40 seconds.
And do you do the same when you exhale after that? Like if you do an exhale and then you hold your breath, or you don't breathe for how long? 30, 40 seconds?
Well, ideally the same length of time as between the inhale and the exhale.
Okay.
So I was doing this, and then there's a guy called Dan Brule, who's one of the sort of breath masters. He's taught thousands of people around the world breath work. So I did a one-on-one with him. And he said, "Oh no, good. You're doing well in the gap between inhale and exhale, but that you should hold it for the same length of time between the exhale and the next inhale as between the inhale and the exhale." I was like, "Oh, that's another level." And it was like, "Whoa, okay, that's hard because you're totally empty."
Yeah.
But I persevered with it, and after about a week, it was like, "Okay, yeah, I can do it." So you're teaching yourself to go beyond the need for for breathing, which is another system. Breathing is another system that the ego's invented. So it's quite interesting what happens when you play with this. And I've done it. I can hold my breath for half an hour. It's possible. I'm not saying you should necessarily go there, but it is possible. And you start to see that a lot of these rules, so-called rules, they're not actually true. The limitations fall away. So you're just kind of pushing into those limits a bit with this.
I've actually got a bit of a headache every time I was moving the breath up. I started to feel a pain, but that's probably just because I'm not used to it, isn't it? I started getting a headache.
So you're raising energy up into the head. So you might feel pressure. It's like a pressure in the head. So these kinds of body sensations are normal.
Okay.
It's shaking things up. So if you do it regularly, you'll see it's got some profound benefits.
Okay.
Fabulous for your health and well-being. On the physical body, the body responds to this. It improves your lung capacity. If you're a sportsman, it's going to give you more endurance. But more importantly, it's about another way of accessing higher awareness.
That's what I need.
Yeah, well, then maybe this is your technique. And if you've got one nostril blocked, it might just clear that. If you keep through it, you might find this the way to heal it. Go into the next one. So next cycle, block the right nostril. Close your eyes. Breathe in through the left one. into the lower stomach. Push the lower stomach out. Clench the sphincter muscle, so you lock the energy in. And second phase of the breath into the heart center, the middle chest. Squeeze the abdominal muscles in and down. Third phase. Raise the energy up into the crown, to the upper chest and the head. You pause at the top of the inhale there. So push the chin down. And just hang out there for another 20 seconds or so. Just observing the thoughts, emotions, body sensations, anything arising. Try and find a sense of calm and peace in the eye of the storm. Whatever the intensity is, you find the calm. So chin level now. Block the left nostril and exhale smoothly out the right nostril. One smooth exhalation over about 5 to 10 seconds. Try and make it smooth, not jagged, and then pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And you just rest here in this deep peace and stillness. A few moments. Try and hold this for as long as you can. If there's discomfort, try and find the higher awareness beyond it, calm within the storm, and then move smoothly into the next inhale. So block the left nostril, your middle finger, inhale through the right. Inhaling to the lower stomach, clench the sphincter muscle, lock the energy in. Second phase of the breath into the heart center. Put one hand on your heart. Connect with your heart space. And third phase into the upper chest and the head. Maybe you feel some energy rising up the spine, a bit of a tingling. Maybe there's some heat, some pressure in your head. It's all normal. Just observe. Chin forward. Keep the rectus abdominis, squeeze the abdominal muscles as well. Keep the root lock, sphincter muscle engaged. Just hang out here for a few more seconds. Try and find the transcendent peace, stillness, calm. And then you're going to block the right nostril, chin up, parallel to the ground, and exhale out the left. Nice smooth exhalation out through the left. And then we'll go feeling the energy maybe subside back down. If you raised up into the crown, it's going down. In the lower stomach, pull the lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. And rest in the gap between breaths. Try and find some stillness, even in the intensity. And then move smoothly into the next one. So keep the right nostril blocked. Inhale through the left. Blow the stomach up like a balloon. Clench the sphincter muscle to lock the energy in. Second phase, draw it up into the heart center. Put one hand in your heart, the left hand in your heart. Squeeze the abdominal muscles in and down to lock the energy in. And then final breath into the upper chest. Feel like you're raising that breath up into the head. Feel some energy flowing up the spine. So maximal inhale breath. Chin forward on the chest. So it's the final lock. And then just hold for 30 seconds in this position. Observing, scanning your mind. Noticing thoughts, noticing emotions arising, any uncomfortable body sensations. Just try and be the witness of all of that without attachment. It's like not really you, it's just an experience blowing through your mind, and you are the witness observing whatever it is without attachment. So you're going to come up, chin level, block the left nostril with the middle finger, and then smoothly out through the right nostril. Exhale out, airflow out, and then 5 to 10 seconds smooth exhalation. Pull the stomach in. The spine. Expel all the last remaining air out. And rest here for a few moments. Try and find the stillness and the peace and the gap between breaths, even if the mind is saying breathe. Find stillness anyway, then breathe in. Block the left nostril in through the right. Stomach pushes out, squeeze the sphincter muscle, lock the energy in and into the middle chest. Put one end in your heart center. Squeeze the abdominal muscles in and down to lock that second chakra in, and then up into the crown of the head. Another inhale. Maximal inhale breath, so take another sip of air in if you need to. Chin forward, so it's the final breath. So we're just going to hold it for as long as you can. See if you can push a little bit further, maybe another 5 seconds or 10 seconds into the discomfort. So maybe feeling right now you need to breathe. So just observe that sensation. What does it feel like in the body? Maybe some panic arising, some heat. Just try and hold it a bit longer and observe that in a very calm, detached way without reacting to it. Hold it for as long as you can. And when it becomes unbearable, you can't handle it anymore, maybe that's now, you're going to come up, chin level, exhale out the left, block the right. Smooth exhalation out to the right over 5 or 10 seconds. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And you just rest here. In peace and stillness. Hold the breath for as long as you can. Can't just revert to breathing normally. So just breathing in and out through your nose. Just do a couple of minutes of breath watching just to end. So breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Observing sensations of the breath. The body, let it all settle. Observe what are you feeling like in your body, mind, body sensations. Scan the body. Notice any differences compared with 20 minutes ago before we started this. And just rest in awareness. Breathing in and breathing out. Stomach rises and stomach falls. Just settling everything, staying in the stillness. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. Nothing else to think about. So you just observe the breath flowing into the nostrils and the breath flowing out of the nostrils. And everything settle. Let your mind go into deep peace and calm and bliss after the intensity of the power breathing. There's no effort to this technique. Just observe. Let the breath happen when you observe it. Just stay there for a couple of minutes, observing the breath in deep silence, letting the session integrate, any insights come to you. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. Just breathe, relax, and be still. If any thoughts, emotions, any disturbing sensations come up, just observe them. The same dispassionate way, you don't need to react to them. Just let them go. The breeze of your breath, imagine they're like clouds just leaving you. And exhale, blow them away with the breeze of your breath into the nothingness they really are. Cannot obscure the sky of your true awareness, your pure formless awareness, or the light of your source shining through that. So just rest in that awareness. Nothing else to do, nothing else to go, just breathe, observe the breath, and let it take you into deeper and deeper with each breath into this awareness. Just marinate in that awareness for another minute or two of deep silence. So just gently coming back. Deep state into an awareness of the body and the breath. And the senses and the world. On the count of 3. And open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in. Noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale. Scan your mind again. One more time. Notice thoughts, emotions, body sensations arising. Check anything that feels negative, limiting, contracted, constricting. And you just let it go once more. Blow it out with the breeze of your breath. A dark cloud leaving you. Going, going, gone. Notice the air flowing out. Chest and the stomach suck back in. Energy subsides back down the front channel of your body to rest in your lower stomach and your groin. Count of 2. Notice the weight of your body. Pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground. Notice what you're feeling and touching. Subtle taste in your mouth, perhaps. Smell in your nose as you breathe in. Notice what you're hearing. Notice all these things without judgment. So no interpretation. Just sense perceptions coming in. Sensory data coming in without perception, without interpretation. These things have no real meaning, they have no power to negatively affect you. You remain rooted in your true awareness, in the sense that there's this deeper awareness that underlies all your sense perceptions. It's always there, always accessible. It takes some discipline to hold that awareness when all the sensory data is coming in and it's trying to get you to judge it continuously and name it and label it and make it important and deny the fundamental awareness that you are, which is always peaceful, calm, happy. So on the count of 3 now, open your eyes and just take a minute to look around. Just noticing whatever's going on in the room. Focus on any object randomly, whatever happens to be in your visual field. Look at it for a few seconds from this awareness. Without judgment. Don't interpret it, don't name it, don't label it. You should notice the same awareness is there as you had when your eyes were closed. Nothing's really changed. And you move on to something else, another object, and you notice the same awareness. And you do that for half a dozen objects, and each one you see the same thing. It's the same awareness, the same experience. So you teach your mind that it's all the same. Actually, there's no difference. There's just one awareness, always underlying all of your sense perceptions, and you start to remain rooted in that awareness. And that is your true awareness, whole awareness, pure formless awareness, ultimately leads you into. So that's what we're training our minds to experience more and more and accept more and more. So I guess that awareness is really peaceful, really happy, feels good. It's my natural state, and I choose that over the constantly changing, fluctuating, interpretive, perceptual world of the ego, which is attached to the body and sense perceptions. It keeps judging those, trying to make sense what actually doesn't make sense. So that brings us to the end of the breath work and meditation session. How's everyone? Got a bit more time? I want to just have a look at the third pathway to higher awareness quickly.
Yeah.
If you're okay with that.
I've got to go, actually, Jono. Thank you so much for that. I will listen to the rest on recording.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's have a chat tomorrow sometime. Message you.
I'm not free tomorrow, but yeah.
Okay.
So, right.
Let me know when you're free. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks. See you soon. Namaste. All right. So what are we looking at? We're looking at the pathways. So we've done the first pathway, just to summarize. First pathway was I'm freeing myself. Someone else read that, actually. Do you want to read the first pathway for us?
Who are you asking, Jono?
Sally, but you can read it. It doesn't matter, anyone. I'm freeing myself from security, sensation, and power addictions.
Okay, I can't see it all. Let me just move my screen over. I am freeing myself from security, sensation, and power addictions that make me try to forcefully control situations in my life and thus destroy my serenity and keep me from loving myself and others.
Yeah, so that's really a restatement of the second noble truth of Buddhism, which is that you have these addictions or these desires that are dysfunctional, make you try to forcefully control situations and destroy your peace of mind and keep you from loving others and yourself. And that's first pathway. Start with your addictions, your expectations. Start letting them go. This just so you're aware, it's a guy called Ken Kais came up with this. He produced it in the 60s and 70s. It was part of the whole sort of arising mindfulness movement, based largely on Eastern teachings, but just reframed for the West. So he talks about the computer programming. That was what was current at that time. Computers were arising as a rising information age. And I found it a few years ago, 10 years ago, just kind of on some site, and they said, look, there's no one's really done anything with this. He died and no one took on the teaching and did anything with it, so there was no copyright. So I just took it and incorporated it. So you'll find it very, very resonant with Course in Miracles teaching. It's really saying the same thing, but just got kind of 12 points to it. And someone did the course a couple of years ago and said, that's amazing, that's so powerful. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I need to actually teach it, because I just included it as kind of background information. So we've done pathway 1. We did that a couple of days ago. So there's more teaching here. You can read that in time. Freeing myself from security, sensation, power addiction. So there's a commentary on that. Second pathway, to summarize where we're at. So someone else read that. I'm discovering how a consciousness dominating addictions. Aurelie or Sally or Susie.
Yeah, where are we? I welcome the opportunity.
No, I'm discovering. Here we go.
The second one. I'm discovering how my consciousness dominating addictions create my illusory version of the changing world of people and situations around me.
So this is coming into more awareness, and seeing how it's actually your addictions that create your reality. And that awareness is essential to undo them. And so the third one now, which we're going to go into and just read the commentary on it. I welcome the opportunity. So Susie, how about you read that?
I welcome the opportunity, even if painful, that my minute-to-minute experience offers me to become aware of the addictions. I must reprogram to be liberated from my robot-like emotional patterns.
Okay, so you'll give us a commentary on that. Read it again in this form. Welcome you up, read it again, and then the next paragraph.
I welcome the opportunity, even if painful, that my minute-to-minute experience offers me to become aware of the addictions. I must reprogram to be liberated from my robot-like emotional patterns.
Yeah, so any thoughts on that?
Nice, I experience that most often.
My moment by moment experience of the addictions, I must reprogram. So it's awareness of whatever's arising, to be liberated from my robot-like emotional patterns. So the idea of a robot, we programmed by our ego mind, conditioned mind that says, okay, stimulus response. Get a stimulus, you react in a certain way. With thought, emotion, action, that's very robotic. It's very programmed. There's no spontaneity. There's no freedom in that. We're not free then. We're just robots that are following the ego's program. So your moment by moment experience offers you the opportunity to become aware of that. As the addictions arise and you experience them and it's uncomfortable, you can see it. And then he says, second paragraph. Do you want to read that as well, Susie?
How do you spot your addictions? It's easy. You just notice the desires and expectations that you use to make yourself feel upset in various life situations. By tuning in to your moment by moment stream of consciousness, you discover the addictions that make you feel worried, anxious, resentful, frustrated, afraid, angry, bored, etc. In this way, you use every uncomfortable emotion as an opportunity for consciousness growth.
Okay. Any thoughts on that?
Sitting with it.
So it's awareness. It's just tuning into this moment by moment stream of consciousness. You see how connected it is with practices like breath work.
Yeah.
Because in the breath work, you get the opportunity. You create the space for this awareness to come in. In the gap in the power breaths, you would just observe. Okay, I'm saying observe thoughts, observe emotions, and emotions arise as body sensations. So observe it and see it. It's uncomfortable, just sit with it, and then use the breath to help you let it go. So mindfulness, it's just being aware. It's awareness, becoming aware of what's going on, not suppressing. I think Sue said that, yeah, I have this tendency to want to, if an uncomfortable emotion comes up, to do something. You want to go and do something, play with your phone, eat something to get rid of the discomfort. This is saying just sit with it, be aware of it arising, and then there's a natural dissipation as you become aware of it. But with the help of the breath and thought. Next week we'll get into the mind training. Yeshua's giving us in the workbook. It's okay, I can let this go. I don't have to stay in this feeling. I'm aware of it. You know, first step, and then second step, I let it go. And I blow it away. And that's the essence of the forgiveness or letting go process, those two steps. In this way, use every uncomfortable emotion. Sorry, Sally?
It's very deep work, isn't it? That when you feel uncomfortable and your lifelong habit has been to go and eat or turn the television on or whatever it is, it can be really intense, really painful. And it can be so painful for some people that it's just overwhelming that they just can't sit with it.
Yeah.
So if you can discipline yourself to just sit with it, you know. So what did in the invitation, you know, what did she say? Without moving to hide it or fade it or fix it. Third pathway. Let's just find that where we go back into the invitation. Can you sit your pain? There we go. On your own without moving to hide it or fade it or fix it. Interesting. Just sit with it, because in the willingness to sit with it and be aware of it, there will be a fading, there will be a letting go. It will happen, but you've got to be willing to face it. Most people don't want to face it; it's too uncomfortable, or they want to immediately fix it. Oh, okay, no, so okay, we'll just sit with it, be aware of it for a bit.
Yeah, and you don't always have to sit with it right the way through, do you? Sometimes it can be just stay with it for 10 seconds and do whatever the habit is. And then the next time, see if you can do 20 seconds with it. Because sometimes it's so difficult to stay with it.
So you're just changing the normal pattern. So the ego doesn't want to sit with this because it's uncomfortable. So it says distract. And in fact, the world is just a massive distraction device, actually. That's all it is. It's distracting you from your true being, from who you really are. So there's many opportunities to distract yourself, which it provides. And then, you know, if your mind is untrained and undisciplined, then that's what you do. Your pattern will be to distract yourself, rather than start going within and really observing what's going on. Because if you go within, in the integral model, you have to start seeing this, and you start becoming aware that I have a mind, I have an inner reality which I've denied. If you become aware of that, then you can undo the ego, because that's where the ego resides. So its defense mechanism would be, don't go there, don't go into inner awareness, stay in the external, in the exterior awareness, stay in the body awareness, keep your consciousness rooted in material things, don't be aware of this, because then it cannot be undone. It just remains unseen and continuing to run your mind as the default operating system. So it's got huge resistance to this kind of awareness, which is why it's uncomfortable. You know, one wants to run away. But if you can sit with it, if the part of your mind, the Holy Spirit, says, no, you just need to do this, just sit with it and observe and be willing to go through the discomfort. It's not going to kill you. It's just discomfort. It's just a sensation. Really, what's the discomfort? It's a sensation in the body, isn't it? That's all it is. Got some sensation going on that you're not used to. It's so-called uncomfortable, but you can observe it without judging it and saying, oh, that's really painful, or that's really uncomfortable. If you drop that perception of it, it's just sensation arising in the body. And that's what this kind of breathwork practice does. We'll do some body scanning tomorrow, where you just observe. without attachment, and it's not scary anymore. It's just a sensation. Okay, so what are you scared of? It's just something arising in the body. If you don't give it the scary meaning that you had, doesn't need to be scary. You're just willing to sit with it and observe sensation, and it will arise as everything does, and it'll fade away. And the observation naturally tends to start dissipating. If you shine the light of awareness, that's when he says, you shine the light on it. It means you bring it into awareness. You sit with it. And then there's the second phase in the Course in Miracles, is the forgiveness or the letting go. It's a conscious choice to say, okay, I've sat with it for a while, I'm aware of it. Can I let it go? Yes, I choose to let this go. I don't have to think these thoughts. I don't have to feel these feelings. I can allow it to dissipate. And you go into that thought feeling program, and you let it go and you dissipate it. And if you keep doing that, the program gets weakened, and it can ultimately be undone. Okay, so let's go back here, back to the pathway. So welcoming the opportunity that life provides you for this, because it gives you these triggers to help you to notice these addictions, to notice these unhelpful thoughts and emotions, and then bring them into awareness and release them. And that's the miraculous process. That's why it's Course in Miracles, called the Course in Miracles, because the corrections that you make in these moments are the miracles that awaken you to your true awareness. Okay. Any comments, questions on that?
Make it sound very easy. And the people that I work that have got addictions, it's really painful for them and really challenging. I had things where it's very easy to sit with some things, like discomfort in the body. But the times when I've had used food to suppress an emotion, that was really hard, really uncomfortable. When it's a really ingrained addiction, and the people I work with quite often have got food addictions. It's really hard for them. It's not as easy as you've just laid it out. But other things seem very easy, like getting the urge to turn the television on or to, I don't know, do something else. They don't seem so hard. So I think, I know there's no
order of difficulty.
No order of difficulty, but it just seems like it. When I think about the people I work with, it's like, it drives them crazy when they've got an emotion coming up and they just can't resist suppressing it.
Yeah, well, the more, by definition, the more attached you are, the more addicted you are, the harder it's going to be to do that. I remember doing this with, she was actually, I think, a cocaine addict, and she came on a retreat. She was just like literally a week she'd come out of rehab, and she really wasn't healed, and came on this retreat, and literally I just said, okay, let's just sit and be aware. That was the first process of the retreat. Just sit and observe thoughts and emotions, and freaked her out. She couldn't deal with it. Just, that was it. Game over. The next morning she left, ran into town, said, I'm out of here, I can't. I was just like, just sit and observe for a few minutes. It wasn't anything other than that. But just that, bringing that awareness into it was too much. It was too uncomfortable. So yeah, it can be. And then I realized, someone that addicted, I couldn't actually help. It wasn't the right environment for them. The reason they have facilities and so on is because the mind is so far gone that just consciously saying, okay, do the mindfulness, they can't do it. So it's, it can be challenging, but if you can sit with someone in that and hold the space with them, that can help them. That's the value of a facilitator or coach. Okay, so I'm with you. I'll hold it with you, and I'll help you get through this. And if you can get through doing it once, and you can break the pattern, you can realize I don't have to go into the compulsive addictive pattern to deal with this. Then you could do it again. So help them get the breakthrough.
I think you
And
start
obviously the more that,
yeah. I think you just start to realise, I'm just sitting here listening to what you're saying and actually reflecting back, and that, you know, I used to work at Samaritan, so I used to hear people, the way they used to speak and the way they used to end their own lives and everything. And I used to sit in that space. And then after hearing everything you're saying, depending on where I worked on, I could see how everybody was in their own little patterns. They felt as if they were in a catch-22, yet if you can hold space for people in that way. But then going back to what you said earlier about just being there, I've always said, listening, I've loved that kind of thing, because I think that's a healing process for anybody, because you're not judging anybody by what they've lived, but just being there for them. Because people always used to say, I like being in your company. I like, you know, I used to stop working with kids because I used to sit there for about an hour or whatever, and teachers used to say, I don't know what you're doing, but it's working. I used to say, I'm not doing anything, if I'm honest. I'm just allowing them to be themselves. And then it used to sit on me thinking they probably had to go home to some, and I never used to like that, you know, being that, having that container for people and just being there for people. And then what you're saying makes a lot of sense, but it is, I'm only realizing it now, how difficult it can be sitting with your own, you know,
stuff.
Yeah, with your own stuff, because it's a challenge, isn't it? Because we've not been where they've been, but
yeah, when the answer is really quick to have that alcoholic drink or pop that pill, it's like the alternative, sitting there in that pain, you can see why the addiction continues.
Yeah. So it's a quick fix, you know. I don't want the pain, so I run away from the pain to some apparent release, you know, temporary sort of release or pleasure, but it keeps the pattern ingrained. So that's why, you know, meditation, breath work are key parts of undoing addiction. You know, if you help someone to start doing a meditation practice or breath work, it's a key part of freeing their mind, because the more the awareness they bring in, the more that you can confront the addictive pattern and make a conscious choice to release it and say, I'm not going to honor this anymore. You know, this isn't serving me.
That's where you see so many people ending their lives because of their emotions. I've seen it time and time again. They can't deal with it, you know, and it started from a very young age then, to 5 to 6 year olds knowing that they're scratching themselves with a pencil or whatever because they like the feel of it. Then they get used to it, and then they get into an addiction. And it's awful. I just feel quite, well, you're saying all this, and then just reflecting back on where I've been and where I've helped people, you just see it so much. People just can't, they hate feeling their emotions.
Yeah.
And it's so easy, like you said, to suppress it, and they don't even realize they're doing it, and it's making it worse.
Yeah. The more you suppress it. So this awareness, you know, awareness is the answer. Bring it into awareness. But it takes courage, you know, to do this. That's why, if you remember on the scale of consciousness, it's the courage to be able to sit in it and say, okay, courage is the breakthrough level. 200. Okay, can you sit with it without hiding to move it or fade it or fix it, and just look at it and say, okay, got the courage. You know, that lady who was the cocaine addict, she was somewhere down here, desire, fear. She wasn't at that level. She couldn't get to the courage to say, okay, yes, this could really heal me. I'm up for this. I'll go through this process, which is probably going to be excruciating, because I know it's going to heal me. She wasn't there yet, so she had to run away.
I don't think people really understand healing or awareness at all. I mean, it's took me ages to understand stuff, but it feels like it's really...
I still don't.
No, that's why you've got to do it for yourself if you do anything. Because I look at all this and I actually don't know anything, you know?
Well, that's a good place to be, to say, look, I don't actually know. I'm in the hands of spirit. I don't know. So you show me. If you think you know, that's pride, isn't it? Look at what's just below courage, pride. No,
I'm just looking at that despair. That's where I was this morning. So it's amazing, John, the stuff you share, because that's how I felt this morning.
But it's just temporary. Realize it's
it's
taking you down there, and you can bounce back up. The answer is to be aware of it and let it go.
I don't
and you can bounce back up into the higher levels.
20, 30, 50. I don't understand that stuff, but
well, that's just a log scale. So he's put numbers to it. He said this is 10 to the power of 20, 30. To give you an idea of the exponential power available, 10 to the power of 600 or 1,000 is an enormous number. That's 10 with 1,000 noughts after it. That's an inconceivably large number.
Makes you wonder when you see these adverts, these government adverts and everything, where they place these, because that's interesting, really, because just looking at that and thinking, no wonder you have a lot of people in some places, because the way they must do these adverts is to get you in that place, those lower frequencies.
What do you mean? They're advertising for
like government and that, where you hear people and you say, well, you don't have to believe that, or you don't, I'm often saying to people, don't watch the news, it's brainwashing you, but they don't listen. Nobody listens, do they? And don't do, if you think it's happening, but really you don't know. It's just a story. How do you know that's today's story? It could be something, nowadays with tech and everything, you don't know whether it's a screenshot from years ago, do you? How do you know? Know? So when I question these things, but I guess I question a lot of things and people don't do that, and it annoys me a bit.
Yeah, well, as you awaken, you do question. You stop taking things at face value, and you go, where's this coming from on the scale of consciousness? What's produced this? Is it the ego, which is below 200? Or is it actually positive? And our society is still largely negative. David Hawkins calibrated generally the world at 190. This was a few years ago. Maybe it's upgraded. It's still not in courage. People don't, by and large, are not having the courage to move up. If you're encouraged, then you're you've started awakening. You're on a spiritual path then. You're on your hero's journey, and then you start moving up. Doesn't mean you don't bounce back down sometimes, like you had a temporary despair. You can go into that, but it's temporary. You realize, okay, this is just an emotion arising. I can be present with it. I can observe it, and I can let it go. And you've got tools to do that. You know that it's not permanent. People get stuck there, and then that would be depression. Like stuck there for years, that becomes their default state, and there's find no way out of it because they haven't been taught. No one's given them the tools, and as we said, the medical system will just medicate them. So there we go. There's a pill, and you'll maybe won't feel it as much, but you're a zombie. You're just like zoned out if you're on medication, and so then it suppresses awareness, which is exactly the thing you need to heal it. Then you're not aware, and you won't heal on those drugs because it suppresses your awareness. So you can't shine the light of your awareness and get uncomfortable in the process and release it. It stops the healing process.
Whilst working in mental health always reminds me of people that used to come early and say, you've dropped my dose in these medicines, and they'd have a right dicky, they really would. It's amazing, isn't it? Because they rely on them, and if they've had a dose and it's been cut down, they think they're going to die. Gosh.
And actually, it's all suppressing their true awareness.
Yeah, and then it becomes an addiction, doesn't it?
Well, then they start feeling things, don't they? When the stuff's reduced, they start feeling what they've been suppressing, and it hurts.
Yeah. So. And then they go, I just want the medication to suppress that because I don't want to feel. So you become a zombie. You're not able to access your true awareness, and the emotional blocks. So if you look at this, let's have a look at this diagram here. this one, perception, emotion, belief, etc. Without going into emotions, that emotional layer, you can't heal. You have to go through that. If you just suppress that with drugs, you remain rooted at the perceptual level. There's no healing. You can't go deeper. You've blocked that. This is
I know,
all about
I know we're speaking, but it's like it's bringing all this mental health stuff coming straight at me. Remember when I was at the Bradgate unit or something like that, and somebody's been out of order, and you don't know if they're out of order, and the way they inject people and stuff like that, it's crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy because they haven't got a clue. You know, some of these suffer with hallucinations and whatever. I think it's all to do with your awareness. It's nothing to do with the tablets. And yet they don't know how to deal with people, do they?
So we have a system that suppresses.
Yeah.
The egoic system doesn't say, okay, let's work with this. Let's bring it up. Let's release it. It just says, stabilize them, medicate them, get it under control. But you're not going to heal them that way. So it's like managing the problem rather than actually solving it. And of course, there's a business model. It's ongoing. They manage the problem and there's money, but there's no real healing. It's not a healing system at all. So as I said, it needs a profound change. The modality, the idea that of medication is just a very bad idea, which means the whole industry has to go, which obviously is not going to happen anytime soon. But for those who are awake, you see what's necessary. You say, well, this is available to you. You can do this with a little bit of courage. You can get off your medication and you can do this, and your awareness will heal you. If you allow it to, if you're willing to go through the emotions and the thoughts and the beliefs, and you go through the pain and you change your mind at the core level, once you've been through all of this, then there's a healing. You've changed your mind, and that core self-concept that's behind all of this, belief, thought, and emotion, then gets undone. And then it all changes. It ripples up, and then your perception's changed. And now why do you need medication? The problem's gone. The problem was in your own mind. So it's enormously powerful, the power of this. And the beauty of it, it's free. You can do this. And I suppose you might pay someone, you might come on a course like this, or you might have a facilitator or counselor or coach or something to guide you through it. But compared with being lifelong on medication, it's negligible cost to do this. You could do it with some of these breath practices. We'll do this. It costs you nothing. So it deconstructs the business model, which of course the pharmaceutical industry is never gonna be happy with, because it's $1 trillion industry. But you see, it's $1 trillion industry based on the delusion. It's crazy. How can that ever heal people? There might be instances, like if someone's really seriously psychotic, they might need some medication just to stabilize them. But then you should quickly try and get them off that and undergo some kind of
I'm not saying it's every case, but I'm saying the majority of people. I mean, they give depression.
Majority of people are, they should. There's another approach. It should be a mindfulness approach. Take them into a facility that's truly healing. Don't put them in the dreadful psychiatric hospitals, which is sterile and cold. Take them into a nice facility in nature. Give them daily meditations, teach them breath work, teach them this kind of stuff. One of my sort of great big hairy, or maybe not impossible goals, but right now, it would be to have a series of centers around the world where people could come in and they could do this work, and you could have like live sessions, and it would be beamed into the center, and then they could all join. There'd be a big screen and everyone could join, and you'd guide people there through this kind of practice to help them heal.
We've got enough TV channels full of shit, ain't there? But nothing like this, have there? Out of all the TV programs you've got, you don't have anything that just draws people to something like this, or for them to think twice about anything.
No.
It's all full of gosh knows what.
Well, it's the external world, and remember, the ego is a huge distractive device.
Yeah.
It's trying to distract you always. It doesn't want you to go within. It doesn't want you to go look within and go through these levels. because you will undo it then. You will see the core beliefs that are the real problem, and you will undo it, and it doesn't want that. So it keeps people on the perceptual level. Focus on form, focus on a solution, magic solution on this level to heal the body, but never look at the mind, and don't go and try and heal the mind, because that will undo the ego. And we have systems of so-called healing that are the block. They're actually defending the ego. But once you're aware of it, then you don't have to believe it. That's the whole point. You can be free. Nothing can take away your power to choose. You can always choose. So everything, and next one, everything and everyone around you is your teacher. Someone else read that, Lynn or Aurelie.
Everyone and everything around you is your teacher. If your washing machine won't work, you are being checked on your ability to peacefully accept the apparently unacceptable. If you're addicted to your appliances always working, it's funny in this house, you will suffer. If you prefer them to operate well, you will not compound your problem by superimposing your uncomfortable emotions on the here and now reality of repairing them, or like when all the pipes burst underneath the house and things like that.
Right. Yeah. So
we just cleared and cleared, and Sally did lots of clearing on it.
Really? Yeah. So you can just accept it. Acceptance is not resisting. So acceptance implies, okay, I accept that the apparent reality, it's within the dream, is okay, the pipes have burst, my washing machine is not working, something's apparently gone wrong. But if I resist and I go, why did this happen? How could this have happened? There's no openness to solution, is there? I just get stuck in the resistance.
The thing is,
acceptance is like base foundation of dealing with it in an aware way. You must just accept it, and then you're able to look at doing something about it.
I can deal with that with things like this. I can look at it and think, right, I know that's happening for a reason. What I really struggle with is the people stuff. So someone's being really horrible to me, then I struggle getting to it. With these, I don't know, for example, like a washing machine, I think, right, okay, I can look at that. I can look at why that's happening, and it's easier. But oh God, the people stuff.
Yeah, well, it's another level, So, but if you're addicted to people being nice to you, then you're going to suffer when they're not nice to you.
So is that what it is then? I want people to be nice to me.
Yeah, you want love. I mean, we all do on the physical level.
Yeah.
That someone should always be nice to you, but that's not really a realistic expectation in this world, is it?
No.
I mean, has it ever been the case? Has everyone ever always been nice to you for any extended period of time?
No.
No. So there you go. Your life experience tells you that expectation is not is never going to be met, is it?
No.
That's just the way it is. So
it's like a level of it's just so unreasonable, isn't it? Sometimes this is the thing. Since I don't know if everyone finds this, but since knowing I was coming on this course, gradually I felt the energy building up and building up and building up, and I can feel all my stuff coming up. It's like, oh my God. And then all this shit has just happened. All this emotional stuff is happening to me. I don't get, well, I get it, but I don't understand why it's got to be like that. Why am I making it like that? Why am I getting people being so really horrible to me? Oh my God, it's like the worst thing.
Because you've suppressed it for years. That's why.
Okay.
And the suppression of it is the problem. So if you keep suppressing it, then at some point you've got to face it, haven't you? And that's what's happening here.
Because I've come into the energy determined to heal it, so it's coming up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it will come up. So and that's all good. It needs to come up. And it's uncomfortable when it comes up, but it's necessary.
The stuff is happening.
Sitting in that
it doesn't
space.
even seem real. What's been going on doesn't seem it's that mad. Like the synchronicities and like strangers, but it's all so connected, like a film, like a literal episode of EastEnders. People like someone I've never met coming up to me on the river path outside my house, telling me stuff. Why have I? Sorry, I'm going on.
Just a reflection, isn't it? It's just like the washing machine's a reflection. The people are a reflection. But then it gets a bit tangly with people because then you kind of go down the rabbit hole with it a bit. Yeah. You don't do that with a washing machine, do you? No. You just go, right, it's not working. What's the feeling? What's coming up?
Yeah. So washing machine is purely you. So you can just control your thoughts and emotions. So it's easier. Washing machine is much easier than a person. But it's the same principle. So someone's being unkind to you. They're judging you, they're attacking you, criticizing you, whatever. Your addiction to them being kind to you is the problem. You think that that's what should be the case, and now it's not, and now you have a problem because it's not happening.
Okay, I've never looked at it like that.
But actually, you're okay as you are. Whether they're kind to you or not, if you are the one self, you have that awareness in you already. Why are you bothered what they say to you? Does it really matter how they behave towards you if you know that you are the one self and that there is love there? You're loved, you're safe, you are protected. Why would it then matter?
Yeah, obviously I'm not feeling like that, am I?
No, because you're still too attached to getting the love that you think you need, or the respect, or whatever, on the level of form.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is saying, well, you don't have to be. You can be free of that if you choose to be. Because in the end, what are you dealing with? It's always your own thoughts and emotions, isn't it? Whether it's the washing machine triggering you, or it's someone else who said something or done something, it's the same thing. It's your own thoughts and emotions. Yeah. It's your own response towards it. That's the problem.
Yeah, it is.
So the letting go is, okay, well, can you let go of whatever that response is, whatever that reaction is? It's quite simple, isn't it? Can you let it go? Or are you going to hold on to it and make it real? Do you see how simple it is? You just got to let go of your own reaction, your own.
Yeah, no, I can hear it when you're saying it. I can feel it. I feel it, but oh God, I don't know how to change it.
It doesn't matter what they do or say. It's your reaction that's the problem.
Yeah, because if I wasn't already thinking it wouldn't be hurting me, would it? That's what it is. They're just showing me what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, it's a projection perception problem. So you projected it from a belief. Let's say you believe you're not worthy of love, and we've been through this, and this will come out later in the course. You believe you're not worthy of love, but that's a subconscious belief. So then you project out. That's kind of going into the quantum field, and then people show you that that belief is correct, by treating you in ways that are disrespectful and unloving and unkind.
Yeah.
So that's projection, but it's on a subconscious level. You're not doing it consciously. No one wakes up and says, "Oh yeah, I think I'll manifest someone attacking me now, or criticizing or judging me." You don't consciously do that, do you? But it's subconscious programming that's doing it. So then, someone walks up to you, or someone says something that's unkind, and then you react, because what's reacting is the belief system that projected it in the first place. Do you see that?
Yeah.
It's a self-concept that believes that, oh, I'm unloving, therefore that's shown to me, and then I get upset because that makes it real. And I get defensive, I get attacking and say, how dare you? Got all this emotion going because that belief has been triggered, and then you get the emotional reaction. And the anger and the upset and whatever you're feeling is really just the ego's defense to looking at the belief and saying, okay, but it's my own belief. That's the problem. They are just mirroring to me my belief that I'm unlovable. Ah, well, if I see it that way, I can cut through all the emotional clutter that obscures that. Then I've got clarity. I've got insight. Okay, so this is me doing it to me via this person. Again, okay, this is the pattern. I do this all the time. Oh, okay. So it must be a pretty deep-seated belief.
Yeah, because I do periodically do it. Yeah.
It's been a pattern over your whole life, isn't it?
Yeah.
And for most people, we have these patterns. And this teaching is saying to us, well, you can heal it by going to the core problem, right? The core problem is your belief. The problem is not out there. It's not someone else, something else doing it to you. The problem is you believe falsely that you are unlovable and you are unworthy and you're not good enough and so on and so on. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So you've got to expose that problem very clearly, see it. And once you see it, there's a natural letting go of it. Oh, okay. Once I really see that this is just my own belief being mirrored to me over and over again, well, the answer's obvious, isn't it? What's the answer?
Yeah, let it go. But I've seen it. I have seen that before. All this work I do always leads to the same thing. But then I haven't let go of it.
No, you still haven't let go. So, I mean, it's not that easy. Say, I'll just let it go. Well, you let go of that belief every time you let go of the thoughts and the emotions and the perceptions that it produces. That's how you do the letting go, you see? How do you let go of the self-concept that you're not worthy of love? Well, whenever you feel that those feelings arising, I'm feeling attacked, I'm feeling separated, I'm feeling abandoned, I'm feeling rejected, I'm feeling angry, and so on, you let those thoughts and feelings go because they're not true. They're based on a belief that's not true. So you've got to let go of all of it to let it go. So when you let go of the emotional level, you let go of those upsetting emotions, because that's that's the ego's grip on your mind, isn't it? The upsetting emotions, they really get you time and again. Okay, so you've got to be aware enough to stay in the higher awareness when that arises. Observe it as sensation. That's all it is. It's just a sensation in the body arising. Feels it, and you reinterpret it. Feels uncomfortable to start with. But if it's just sensation in the body, what are you really scared of? What's the problem? It's just okay, there's a tightness, there's a knot in my stomach, maybe I've got sweaty palms, dry mouth, the extreme nausea. Okay, but I can observe all that. And I don't have to react to it because it's just ripples on the surface of my being. It's not who I really am. There's a deeper awareness that's able to look at that. Say, no, that's not you. None of that's true. And then you start undoing it. The whole programming just gets undone through this awareness. And the more you do that, it's a habit and it's a pattern. The more you're establishing yourself in your true awareness. Beyond belief lies your true awareness. The I am that I am. I just am. I'm not conditioned by these beliefs anymore. So now someone comes in and says something, and then you're being checked out, as he says, on your ability to handle that. Can you handle that? It's a test. It's useful. Okay, so the same thing happens. Someone gives you says something judgmental, critical, and then you observe reaction. So did I react to that? Maybe your reaction, there was still a reaction, but maybe not as much as it would have been a month ago. Okay, well then I've made progress, haven't I? Checked it out. Okay. And then so you welcome these. These are the tests. This is how you measure your progress and how you learn in that moment. Okay. Something's still around, so I can go in and I can let that hold of the head and let it go again. And you just keep doing that. If you keep doing that, it's a done deal that the ego will be undone. It has to be. It can't sustain against this process of awareness and letting go consistently whenever anything arises. It'll just try and distract you from it. So no, don't do that and get busy with other stuff and don't do it. But if you keep doing it, it's a done deal. It will be undone ultimately.
Okay. That's what I
Which
want.
is what Yeshua is saying to us. Saying, forgiveness will undo it. But you've got to be consistent in it. It's a practice. It's the way you choose to live your life from now on. Yeah, this is the only way that makes sense. So I live in the letting go. I master the art of letting go in my daily life. That's my life is about practicing and mastering the art of letting go. That's the way I live from now on, because it's the only way that makes any sense. Anything else, I'm holding on to the ego, and that's going to make me suffer. So why do I want to suffer? I've had enough of that.
Yeah, that's what's really been happening a lot.
So, if it was easy, then we'd all do it, and it would be game over in a few days. But it's a practice. It's a retraining of your entire thought system. And that's a lifelong, welcome to the rest of your life. That's what you're here to do.
Yeah. To
retrain that and just keep working at it. Rome wasn't built in a day. Mastery happens systematically, progressively, day by day. Keep practicing, keep working, keep learning, keep improving. That's the way you commit to living your life. What else are you going to do? The alternative would just keep being stuck, keep the ego going, keep the pain. Is that really an alternative that's viable?
No, it's unbearable, especially when it's coming at you at several angles. That's the thing. If one thing happens, there for me, there's a space to right. I need to dig into that and clear it and release it, let it go, whatever. But when several things are happening at once, it's just got too difficult. Like I felt like I could burst these last few days, especially. So yeah, no.
So is that external things triggering you, or is it just
external things? External things triggering me. It is external thing, and then but I'm very aware that I'm then torturing myself with the thoughts of them. So I'm not. It's like I am lost in it in one way, but I'm not lost because I absolutely know what I'm doing. I know what's going on. But then I still can't let go of the rejection, and the things like that.
Because that's the deep-seated pattern of I'm unlovable, you see. So the ego's told you, look, there we go. There's the evidence. Someone's rejected you, so you're unlovable. And that's your core belief.
Yeah. So
it arises again. And because it's your core self-concept, it's sticky. It doesn't just go easily. It requires a lot of work to dislodge it. But every time you do a letting go practice, when those emotions arise, you are saying, okay, I'm willing to let it go. That self-concept doesn't serve me anymore.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna do it.
So you just keep at it, because you've taught yourself for so long and so often that you're unlovable. That's the problem. Your entire life, and not just this life, many lives. It's karma. It's like we've all believed that we're unlovable, and because we believe we're unlovable, we come into the world and we get these experiences that confirm to us our belief is true.
Yeah.
And if we've done that over and over and over again, this lifetime, many lifetimes, it's going to take a bit of undoing, isn't it? It's going to take some time to start dislodging that and allowing the truth to come in. And that's your spiritual path. That's your hero's journey. That's awakening. And as I said, welcome to the rest of your life. If you can do it in one lifetime, and you can learn that you are lovable, that you are love itself in this lifetime, that's amazing. That's huge. That's massive progress. So you're in the right place. You've still got a large part of your life ahead of you to do it.
Yeah.
You're in a good place, and you come to the awareness that, yeah, I do need to change now. You know, the rest of my life is going to be different. And you have the way, you know, the Course in Miracles, these tools, these techniques, these teachings, you know, they're the only way. You're not going to find, whether you do it in another path or this path, it's going to be the same thing. You know, it comes down to, can you let go of your stuff? That's in the end what it comes down to, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
You have to let go of that.
Mm.
Well, I'll say for A Course in Miracles is, you know, he has the metaphysics will help you with that, because he's telling you it's not real. A lot of teachings tell you to let it go, but they still make it real. Well, how do you let it go if it's real?
But I struggle with the not real thing. Anyway, that's a subject for another day. But
yeah, most people do, because in your experience, it's real.
It feels.
But can you see that? I mean, you can see, and you're already having that awareness. This is my own thing. I've made this up. It's a story, and I'm perceiving it, you know, in a certain way, and it's a story. It's a story of Lynn. You know, that's the self concept, the story of you, the separate self, interpreting the situation and creating the drama.
Yeah.
And you can start to see that you do that over and over again. So how real is that? Or is that just your own? It's all in your mind.
Yeah, I can see how my thoughts and feelings create this stuff to highlight it to me. I can see all of that, but they're not real. Just those words, trigger me.
They're not real, because you are pure formless awareness. You are the pure formless awareness of perfect love. Right? So that pure awareness, pure pristine awareness, doesn't have any of those thoughts, any of those emotions. None of that. No, it's all been cleansed away. That pure awareness doesn't know about any of that stuff. It's not real. When you see that, conceptually at least.
I can see that totally. And then, because when you stopped speaking, then I just thought, yeah, but here am I. You know, here am I not feeling like pure formless awareness of perfect love. So that is the thing. It's basic, I know it is, but it's massive. It's basic, but it's massive.
They're very simple, yeah, very simple. But to get to that pure formless awareness, and you get beyond all the coverings of the ego and all the layers and all the illusions, is the work.
Yeah.
Because you think that covering is you. That's your identity. That's now you'll become your new reality. And you've got to uncover it. You've got to remove the covering, the veil, let those go to reveal the true self. And that's what this process is doing.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, thank you.
You know, it's a process. It's just your day 5. I mean, it's not a long time into it. I mean, we've done. You were on the program for what, 6 months last year. But the intensity is going way up now. You know, this is like an intense immersion. That was just kind of warm up.
Yeah.
So just go with it and say, okay, you know, I'm up for it. I'm all into this.
Yeah, I'm determined.
Holy Spirit, you know, Holy Spirit, yeah, I'm going to go through whatever I need to go through. Holy Spirit, guide me in this and bring, you know, give me the courage, bring me the everything I need. Whatever experiences I need, bring it to me, and then everything will come. Even the people attacking you, well, that's just you being checked out. You're giving another opportunity to correct your pattern and let it go. So it's all serving you, right? Everything that happens in your life serves you, especially the challenging things, especially the most unpleasant thing, the most awful thing that's ever happened to you is serving you.
Yeah.
To the highest level. That's what you've got to start reinterpreting, seeing that. Because
I do know that. No, I do know. I know we learn the most from the tough things. I know. I do know that. Like I said, I just got too many angles. Say again, sorry.
You get to see your core belief, your ego in that situation very clearly.
Yes, being flung at me at the moment. Yeah.
So that's good, because it means that there's a opportunity now for healing it. It's coming up to be released.
Yeah.
So that you can be free of it And in the process feels intense. It's difficult and challenging, but it's necessary. You know, you have to go through it. That's why it's the hero's journey.
Yeah. Okay.
Got to go through the trials, you know, trials and tribulations, tests, but you grow through that. There's growth and new skills that arise, and it will lead you ultimately to the death of the ego, which feels shocking. I have to say, I've been through this. It's awful. When my life's deconstructing, it's not a pleasant experience. But on the other side of that lies your true self. On the other side of that lies a flow in life, happiness, flow, inspired purpose. You know, everything you truly want. On the other side of the collapse, the death of your self-concept, lies the happy dream. So it's worth it.
Yeah. I can see that.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep going, you know, and you're seeing glimpses of it already. You know, there's like,
I have.
you've seen it. So it's like, but imagine living in a life where you always like that, when the emotional drama doesn't get you, when you're peaceful, you're in flow, you're inspired, you know, you're just radiating joy out to people, and you become an inspired and inspiring person in the world who's teaching people, however that works, probably through photography and who knows.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we can make some movies, or, you know, get into, who knows.
Yeah.
All kinds of things can unfold if you're in the spirit. It will give you the inspiration for, you know, a truly inspired standard life of service to others, and that feels meaningful and purposeful.
Yeah.
It's coming. You know, you're on the journey, and you're just somewhere here. So that's okay. That's part of the journey. And maybe you're a few days, a week or two away from a profound death of the ego and a rebirth into the spirit. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
So could be around the corner.
Up a couple of days ago, so yeah, I took myself to Brighton, sat on the beach for a few hours. That helped.
Well, we're all coming up, and there's a crisis, then that's a healing crisis. It's actually an opportunity for huge healing and huge growth. And in that, you could collapse the ego entirely. It's possible. Certainly undo you know, another huge layer of it.
That would be good.
Yeah. Well, I'll remind you of that. So it doesn't feel good when it's happening. You know, that'll be good, but it's not a pleasant process when it's happening. But you go through it because you know, you want to be free of it, and on the other side of it, you're free of it. Now you have, you know, the happiness, the peace, the flow, the life that you truly want.
Yeah.
It's worth it. You just got to remind yourself of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And breathe.
Yeah. God, yeah.
Just breathe. It's okay. Just breathe.
Stop holding my breath.
Yeah.
At the wrong time.
So holding the breath, I can hear. Yeah. So nice, free flowing, smooth breath will help. You know? It's like breathe through. Okay, because it connects you with your higher awareness. Okay, I'm still there. You know, I say you're only ever one breath away from whatever, from your peace, from truth, because you are one breath, and you can drop into that, can't you?
Yeah.
It's still there for you. So even when things get intense, remember that.
Well.
Keep practicing, keep joining the calls. Make sure you join the live sessions on Sundays, because that's going to be the where a lot of the transformation happens. I mean, it's all transformational, but this exercise, naming your game, very, very powerful. We're going to do that fourth Sunday.
Terrifying.
Not really.
Leave it, honey.
No one ever died, were we? So
It's always your first.
it's like you through the group. Everyone tells you what your stuff is.
Yeah, I know.
Which is good, because I mean, and you'll see the patterns will come up, and you'll see them, and you go, yeah, it's very accurate. It's a very accurate feedback. So that feedback then allows you to really get into the core of the ego, see it, and release it.
Okay.
And that's what's coming. All good. All good. All being directed by spirit. Okay, so any other comments or questions on this teaching? We'll finish. We'll do one of these a day. The pathway. So that's the first three. Just to summarize. I mean, let's read the overview because we finished the first section. He's done them in threes. So Lynn, if you read number 1, someone else read number 2, someone else read number 3. You'll see how they fit together. They kind of interlock, part of the same idea of freeing yourself.
I am freeing myself from security, sensation, and power addictions make me try to force control situations in my life and thus destroy my serenity and keep me from loving myself and others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what the process that you're going through. You are freeing yourself through this process.
Yeah.
Security, sensation, and power addictions.
Mm.
If you're addicted to people always being nice to you, then you're going to free yourself from it. You don't need to be.
Yeah.
Then paradoxically, when you free yourself from that, they probably will be nicer to you.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah, because I'm
not attached to it. I don't need it anymore. Then it happens.
Yeah.
It's kind of this paradoxical law. I'm not attached to it. I don't desire it. I don't need it. And then it comes. The more I need it, the more attached I am to it, the more it doesn't come.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because obviously there are periods of time where everyone's lovely, but obviously whatever's come up for me just before the course started, that's making me create all this stuff just to remind me again, like say, obviously I've been suppressing it, and oh dear God, yeah, it'll be all right. It'll be all right.
Just the core belief, your core belief. See, the problem is your core belief is I'm unlovable, I'm unworthy of love. Then you can't have too much love for too long, can you? With that belief.
No, because then I stop believing it. I can I can see it. I can see how it plays out. It's like I could be happy in a relationship and then all goes to hell.
The ego comes in and says, oh, no, you can't have too much love because that's not in accordance with your belief. So now we've got to create drama. We've got to create some conflict to tell you that your belief that you are unworthy of love is real again and remind you.
Yeah, we're very good at that. Yeah. We're champions.
That is true.
Yeah, we're very good at that. But I actually appreciate what I think it was Susie who said that yesterday or the day before about the anger and the anxiety rising up for what she wasn't able to express as a child, because it's a lot of that trauma as well from childhood that's been probably still, like, we thought we may have released it, but then there's another layer that needs to be released or to be removed. Or let go of, like that's maybe suppressing some anger from childhood, or that's creating like this anxiety or whatever feelings or emotions that may rise up now.
So we're dealing with deep-seated childhood stuff, past life stuff, karmic stuff, and of course it's challenging. If it weren't challenging, you would have dealt with it already. You would have let it go and it would be fine. But it's you're talking about the core of the ego here. This is the thought system that's kept you enslaved in time and space, coming back over and over as a body, reincarnating for who knows how many lifetimes, hundreds, thousands, maybe.
Yeah.
You don't know. So, of course, it's got a little bit of seeming power to it. It's deep seated.
Yeah, because I'm noticing as well, I'm observing this pattern in a lot of cases where most of us were kind of controlled. I mean, whether it was at school or from a educational, what do you say, educational role model or caregiver, there was always this control over us, like not being free to do what we wanted as a child. And that's, I think we carry on that pattern, you know, through our life, throughout our life, that controlling factor or not being understood as a child. I think often we carry on this pattern.
Yeah.
Well, we treated as children. I mean, look at the COVID pandemic. They treated us not as adults, but as kids. They said, you've got to do this, you know, where's my free will? Where's my choice here? I should be able to make conscious choices as a free thinking adult about how I want to respond to this. No, you have to do this. Well, we're being treated like a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but not as a kid, because if we are being well, as a kid. Yeah, but how, even as a child, why people think they have the right to overpower us and control us and not allowing us to do what we want to do? So that's what I'm practicing now. I have this little girl that comes for sessions on Wednesday, like nice, relaxing sessions. And it's like a time for her to, and for both of us actually, to play, but also to relax and have a great time. It's like, I know I'm connecting also to my inner child through her experience. But I'm allowing her to be free, you know, to express herself and to also choose, you know, of course I guide her more or less. And I ask her, you know, would you like to do that? And she's always like, yes. So it's like amazing, that mirror of a child, that's you're allowed to be free, and the response is amazing. It's like, wow, I'm happy to be in my freedom. So you see, there's always different ways to deal with situations where we're both free. It's not because you're an adult that you have to always control the child or tell the child what to do. And that's where the you know, that's the mindset of people needs to change, where you know, they give space for the child also to be himself or herself and express themselves. And I think that's, for me, in my own experience or my own perception, that's where I was deprived of my freedom, of that kind of expression, of childhood expression, or like, yeah, because that's part of love. That's like, if you really love your child, you let him do, you know, what kind of what he wants to do. Of course, there is like guidance, more or less, but it's not like.
Yeah, I mean, the key thing is, you know, don't allow the child to hurt himself or herself. You know,
wise guidance. Wise guidance.
Wise guidance. But you know, within that framework, okay, you can express yourself, you can learn.
Yeah.
Allow them to make mistakes and learn.
That's it. Yeah, you're allowed to make mistakes, because like in my world where I grew up, or still now, like I'm not allowed to make mistakes. I'm being pointed at with the blame game and the projection, like negative projections, accusation, and all this crap. So you know,
well, that's just the ego, you know, trying to keep us under control. But recognize that the external world is the mirror of your own internal belief. You could not experience that if you didn't have a belief in the ego. The external is the mirror of your internal. So now you come into the world, you face these things, and you get to see the falsity of it, and you get to change your mind. You get to correct it. No, actually, I'm not bound by these things. These laws are false. You know, the only law is the law of love, and that's the law of freedom. That's my own true awareness. That's freedom. That's liberation, and I choose that, and only that. You know, and that's what we came here to do. We came here to make that choice. And make it so consistently that the other choice, the other alternative, would be undone in our minds. That just wouldn't be a choice anymore. Then you're in the truth. There's no alternative to the truth. If you've collapsed the illusion, you don't believe in it anymore. And then you collapse the idea of choice. There's no choice anymore. You know, you are what you are. Your true awareness is all there is and all there ever will be. And there is no choice anymore. The alternative disappears. So we're here to do this work, to collapse the alternative in our mind through our experience in this world. And that way of living is called awakening, or at-one-ment, forgiveness.
I'm grateful actually for this this journey, because I can see some already shifts and stuff. Like I meditated, I did the letting go meditation this morning, and already I'm already already getting like I can see shifts from it. Like my mom, I remember I told you I was gonna go away because I needed to just like be myself again, and just not having someone to tell you all the time what to do, or project, like reflecting this ego stuff. But the more you work at releasing and letting go, the more it shifts, as you know, around you. And now it's actually my mom who left for a few days. So it's like by me being still and meditating, doing the meditation, I actually created a situation where a freedom, actually, the freedom that I was kind of looking for, not asking the Holy Spirit to give me a break in a way, as it happens. So I don't know if it's the ego or if it's just a blessing. I see it as a blessing. I think it's a blessing to see that because she often wait for others to do something, and I give her the freedom, and also I want to empower her, my mom, like to go and do what she wants to do and not always wait for others, because she was used to always wait on my dad to do something, always wait on someone to do something, but then you never do nothing if you wait after others to do something. So I always like empower her or encourage her to do what she wants to do. And so be free to do what you want to do. And so now she just took the courage, like, to just go and do something, to go see her sister or whatever. But it's really amazing to see, it's empowering. So just by
being still, doing the process, doing the letting go process in meditation,
well, it's a work in
changes
progress
in your external environment.
But it's a work in progress, because I've been doing it every day. So it's not just from today's meditation. I know it's from the releasing and letting go that I've also been working on doing. And up until this meditation, wow, okay, yes. Yes, it's good to also empower others through your own empowerment. I always believe in this.
Yeah, well, that's the miracle. You see them as they are.
Yeah.
You show them their true self through that. So.
Yeah, and it's, for me, that's the blessing. I mean, that's the blessing. Yeah, it is a blessing. And there's a lesson today in the Course in Miracle. Actually, I am blessed as a son of God. That's the lesson of the ACIM today.
Yeah.
And so I'm really aligned and in synchronicity with today's lesson. It's amazing, this confirmation, as you said yesterday. Yeah.
So the blessings show you that it's right, it's correct. This way is right, and you're getting the confirmation from the external environment that it's correct through the blessings. Well, if you didn't get that, you would lose faith, wouldn't you? Well, I've changed my mind, and nothing's really changing. So why would I bother then?
And it's so funny, because I even heard my mom today before she said it's the faith that saves you, but she doesn't apply it or practice it usually most of the time. But today she said it's the faith that saves you. I was like, yay, hallelujah, amen. The faith that saves you, it is actually the faith, because I also struggle sometimes to trust and have faith in certain situations. So it was great to hear it now from my external environment. Yeah,
there you go. So there's a mirror. She's just told you it's a faith that saves you.
Yeah.
It's a little pointer saying, look, it's the right track. The faith in truth, which is your own deeper awareness, who you really are. That's what's going to save you. That's what's going to free your mind. That's what's going to bring you a happy dream. It's all there for you if you believe it.
No.
And willing to act on it, consistently. And that's what you're all doing with this process. And the miracles show up, and you go, wow, this works. I'm starting to see it. That the process works, and I'm coming into more and more awareness of who I am, and just keep on. Why would we stop? Let's keep on this track. Keep on the miraculous track. Keep doing this for the rest of my life, because what else are you going to do?
Yeah, that's
why he leaves us. The last lesson, the course is he leaves us in the charge of the Holy Spirit. He says, if you need a word, I'll give it to you. If you need a thought, I'll give that to you too. And if you need just stillness and a tranquil open mind, then I'll give that gift to you. It's all given to you so that you can live in a very happy, flowing way in this world, while you undo your ego, and finally the body's laid aside, and you go back to source, and the dream is over. But while
that's
you're here,
the aim. Yeah, that's the aim. But I know the discipline. That's where it's always been challenging to keep doing, like to keep at it and persisting and persevering. I know that's
well, one of the reasons why I was inspired to create this course and this program was exactly that. It's the discipline. The course is great. There's a profound teachings in it, but if you don't have the discipline to study it and practice it and apply it in your life, then it's not going to be that effective for you. It's
you won't get all the benefits.
And most people don't, unfortunately. They say they're studying it, but they don't really practice it in a kind of disciplined, systematic way. Like daily, I'm doing practice, deep understanding of it, then application of these ideas and the lessons into their daily life. And so
that's the key. I mean, practice is the key, actually. Practice is
so it helps you practice it. It's like, okay, so there's a structure here. You can fit into the structure, and you can follow the structure, and you're getting the guidance, and you're getting things sent to you, and you're getting tools, and you're getting live sessions, and use that to help you stay on track and keep discipline with it. So it becomes a way of life. This is how you live. You don't say, well, I go to gym once and expect that, that's it. It's a way of life. You go to gym, frequently, several times a week as part of the way you live. So it's the same way. Okay, well, this is what I do. This is a course. It's a transformation, but then ongoing basis. This is the way I live. I live in a letting go way. I live in the art of letting go, and this keeps me on that track. It's my spiritual gym, and I keep doing it. Because otherwise it's very easy to lose focus and go off track. The ego wants to pull you off.
He's good.
You don't keep on it, and you're not disciplined with the practice, then it can dissipate. And you all have times in your life, you'll know when you haven't done it, and then you start going into more of the ego, and it's sticky, and it gets difficult then to just change your mind, because the patterns start getting entrenched in your mind. So you just keep doing it systematically and progressively. That never happens. And there's a shift or a change, and there's a course correction needs to happen. Then it happens, and you do it straight away. And you just, you don't go off course by very far with the process, with a practice like this. You can't, because there's always a correction. You're being corrected all the time. So you never go far off course, and that's a much better way of living your life than going way off course, really hitting a wall, and really, finding it incredibly difficult to then, let go of whatever the wall is that you've hit, and all the pain and the suffering that goes with that.
No, I still have a lot to let go of, for sure, but it's a work in progress. I mean, we all do. We all do. You've got to let go of orally. That's a massive let go of orally.
That's a big one.
You are orally, you're a separate self, that your life is real, that all of this is true, and all of your dramas and emotion, all of that's real. It's simple, but to actually do it it's a mind blower. You're no longer orally. You are a pure formless awareness, walking now in a body that people will call orally. They say you orally, but you're not. You realize you're not that.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
You realize you're not that, but you really realize you're not that. Because you're in the clear awareness. You're in this enlightened awareness, and the orally character's gone. There's no more of that conditioned programming. That mind is no longer there. You're just purely free, open, spontaneously listening to spirit, moment by moment. They're saying, "I'll get it. If you need anything, it'll give it to you. If you need a thought,
I know.
You'll have the thought. If you need the words will come.
I should know.
Need the actions, those will come. But you're no longer conditioned by the orally character and her past and all the experiences and the karma of past life, all the conditioning's been wiped away. And you're now totally free, open, spontaneous in the moment to listen to the guidance coming from divine intelligence, from pure formless awareness itself, streaming through into your mind in a direct communication that you can listen to, you can download it, and you can speak and act from that presence, which is inspiration. You live an inspired life. You're in the spirit, or in theos, enthusiasm. You're enthusiastic.
Yeah.
So those are the high levels. This is like base foundational stuff. When he's saying, free your mind, free yourself.
Yeah.
You need to do this to just as base sort of level to go to a higher level and start to allow this joy. And joy is when you're in the flow. Joy is when you've let go of your conditioned, your programmed mind. You're completely in the moment. You're present, and this awareness is in charge, and it's directing everything. And there's a natural flow with life then. It starts to come. So that's like another level up from just acceptance. It's okay. I'm so clear that I'm able to allow this awareness to flow through me in my thoughts, my words, and my actions. And
I used to do that. I mean, when I lived in South Africa, I was exactly living like that. I was living in the moment, being guided, following guidance, trusting the guidance. But I don't know, it's like the minute I got back to like thrown into another environment, a complete different environment, it's like I lost myself again. It's like I forgot who I was.
Yeah. So
I was thrown back into sorry?
That can happen. You can get a temporary regression, because the ego comes back and says, "Oh no, we don't want free flow. We want to be, in the separate self, and we prefer upset and drama and fear and whatever the emotions are that it sponsors."
No, it was most resistance. It was most resistance to be here, like where I grew up. I think it was more around the because it brought back all the memories from childhood and growing. It brought back
perfect,
the past.
Because you have to go resolve that.
I was in the past. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm back.
You have to go and face that. To release it. So it's brought you back to your where you grew up. So all of that's now got to be dealt with. Whereas in Cape Town, it was another environment.
Yeah.
And you're out of that. And you're like, I can be like free and liberated. But actually
I can be myself.
What was still underneath there was all of that conditioning and program. You haven't actually fully dealt with it.
Fully dealt.
So now you come back.
I thought I did, because I did a lot of healing and work, but I guess there's layers. So yeah.
So now you come back into the physical environment for a reason, to allow you to heal it. You're facing your mum, and so it comes up, and it's difficult. But go through that, and then there's another level of flow that will come. You can be guaranteed on that. So what you experienced before, you hadn't fully let go. Imagine if you fully let go and you are in the flow of the divine. I mean, you're like the Christ then. You're like Yeshua was. It's like he's just in the flow, and miracles just happen around him. And he's this extraordinary individual who just brings in this God higher awareness into every interaction, and people feel that, they sense it, and then miracles happen around him. It creates a field of transformational energy around him. So we can all be that, but it requires the complete letting go of the ego, that all of that conditioned program stuff, which is what you're doing now. All good. So
slowly but surely.
Day by day.
Day by day.
You meditate, and so it's just it's a marathon. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. So the 6 weeks is just an introduction to a way of life. But hopefully you'll say after the 6 weeks, I would like to do this. Maybe not to the same intensity all the time. We'll do one course like this every year, just to like amp it up, because it's good to have an intense, kind of immersion experience.
I usually do. I actually usually do this kind of stuff. So it is. I mean, it is. I do meditate. Usually have like some healthy lifestyle or habits. Sorry?
Maybe it's just taking it to another level.
Yeah, I think so. I think it is. It's really like really completely letting go of the ego. That's what it is.
Yeah, which is another level. And that's what the design of this is. The Course in Miracles, combined with this art of letting go, you put the two together and you really practice, in a disciplined, detailed fashion for sustainably for years. I believe it's going to undo your ego entirely. We'll see. It's a work in progress. But given what some people have experienced, my own experience, because I'm sort of the guinea pig of this. I'm certainly, huge shifts over the last couple of years of doing this. Maybe Sally, if you are around, I saw she was
doing what, teaching the course or doing the Course in Miracles?
Well, studying, but also teaching. So in the teaching of this, I'm obviously learning as well, because I'm in every live session. I'm doing every session, and so there's a huge amount of spiritual practice I'm doing as part of the course in the teaching. I'm really teaching myself. And I mean, it's been profoundly transformational. I definitely, over the last 5 years since I started this, shifted into another energy state. I'm very different from how I was. Sally, maybe you could just share some of your experience. So Sally's been doing this for about 9 months, since the end of April last year. So what are we? So that's 9 months, is it? We're now beginning of February, March, April. So about 9 months. Maybe you could just share your experience over the last 9 months. I don't know, maybe Sally's not around. We can't hear you, Sally. Okay, never mind. Another time. It's all fun. But I've seen from my own experience and other people's experiences, like Sally, that it's profoundly transformational if you keep doing it. So hence, it's not just the 6 weeks. It's a 1-year program, and at the end of the year, hopefully you continue. So, well, this is ongoing. I'd like to undo another layer and go deeper and live more in flow. And this is supports me in that. And there's a joy, in the moment of connecting. The process itself is enjoyable. I love these sessions. It's connection. It's it's a community. You feel that. You feel the love, even via Zoom, and you never know what's going to happen. It's spontaneous arising of, okay, so what's going to unfold today? Just is part of the spontaneous flow of it. So this is I guess what you're all experiencing is the product of following my bliss. This was my bliss, and I just went, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this to the best that I can, and allow the spirit to guide it all. And it's amazing to see how it's got out there and unfolded, and it's helping people, which is what it was about. So you all have that in you. There's something in you that you can bring that's unique to the world. It's the spirit, but it will act through you in a unique way that is based on your talents, skills, abilities, experience, that can bring something of true value to other people. And that is your inspired purpose, your special function, as the course calls it. And we're going to find that for you through this course. The end of it is a process we'll do to reveal that, if it hasn't been revealed yet.
I think it's been revealed to me before, so it's been in progress for a while now.
So maybe you already know, but then maybe it's time to go, okay, well, I need to do something about it. I need to take it to a level and start living that. And then the living of that purpose, you actually are on your hero's journey, because you're learning your own lessons in that purpose. So it's not just about, oh, well, now I'm teaching and healing others or whatever. It's actually your own experience that you need to further awaken, to come to your full enlightenment. So it's all been part of the process. So you're doing it for yourself. The side benefit is everyone else benefits too. So that's what we have to look forward to. So where were we? We were just going to summarize. I think we got kind of sidetracked there. Just summarize these 3 pathways, because we're going to move on to the next one tomorrow. So I'm discovering, or if you want to read that, I'm discovering how my consciousness dominating addictions.
I thought I read that already.
Did we read it as a summary?
I did read that.
I was just summarizing it.
So we did that yesterday as well.
Yeah, I'm just summarizing the 3 pathways. So we have done it.
Okay.
It's a summary of this 3 sessions. So I'm discovering how my consciousness dominating addictions.
I'm discovering how my consciousness dominating addictions create my illusory version of the changing world of people and situations around me. Yep.
Which is an essential part of freeing. This is how you free yourself. You're freeing yourself by discovering, observing these consciousness dominating addictions, how they create your illusory version, changing world of people and situations around you. So you see how they work together.
Yeah.
Hand in glove. And then the 3rd one.
I welcome the opportunity, even if painful, that my minute-to-minute experience offers me to become aware of the addictions I must reprogram to be liberated from my robot-like emotional patterns. Yeah.
So as I'm discovering, I welcome the opportunities that life gives me, moment by moment, to become aware of these addictions as they arise, so that I can reprogram them and be liberated from them.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're doing. And this is so in alignment with the Course in Miracles. It's really saying the same thing, just different language. It's put it into 12 pathways, but it's the same fundamental idea. This would be based on Buddhism. I think you based it on Buddhist teachings. You can see the security, sensation, power addictions. That's the craving, the desires that enslave us, that the Buddha noted in the Second Noble Truth. So that's foundational. This is getting to a foundational level. If you can apply these, then you start living your life in a state of acceptance rather than resistance. I'm okay with things. I can let them go, which then frees you for the next pathways, which is being here now. So it's about being in the moment, in the now. But you can't do that if you have the addictions going on, because that takes you out of the now. It takes you into the past and the future, rather than just being aware of your true awareness now. So it's it's a progression, and then ultimately you can live all of them. You progress through them. You can actually live with all of these 12 pathways going on all the time, helping you.
What defines that you're addicted to food or not, or detached to food? What defines that? Like, how would you actually know if you're addicted or not? If you can completely let go for certain days, or what? Or what? How do you?
Well,
I can feel I'm attached to food, but I can do the 12, 16 hours without food, and so I can do that. So it's like I'm trying to understand to what level it becomes an addiction, or do you say it's not an addiction anymore if I can let it go for 12, 16 hours or more? Or
well, he talks about preferences versus attachments, doesn't he? Preferences versus addictions.
Yeah.
So addictions, maybe read that. Addictions always cause unhappiness.
Addictions always cause unhappiness sooner or later. Preferences never do. When an addiction is not satisfied, you feel upset or unhappy. Oh, okay. When an addiction is satisfied, you feel momentary pleasure, relief, or indifference. When a preference is not satisfied, you simply feel indifferent. It was only a preference after all, but when it is established, it adds the texture and beauty of your life. Okay, yeah. So I would say I'm still a bit addicted to food because I think if I don't eat for a day, I might feel unhappy or upset or.
Do you feel upset or unhappy?
Maybe not unhappy. It may be not unhappy, but it might trigger frustrations or something.
Well, that's a form of unhappiness, isn't it?
Yeah.
Covering over happiness and frustration.
Yeah.
So there's a contraction in your emotional state. Oh, I can feel that. So you check it out. You go, okay, well, let me see. You do a practice like fasting to check out, am I addicted to food or not?
Yeah.
And then you see. And if you find it causes you unhappiness and you've got this resistance and you're frustrated or whatever, then okay, maybe there was a degree of addiction there.
Yeah. You need to let go of that.
So upgrade it to a preference. Yeah, it's nice to have good food in a meal, but if it's not there, yeah, I'm really not bothered.
Yeah.
It's not really
I am bothered
if
it's not there.
Yeah, so then you've got to be honest with yourself. It's okay, so that's an attachment or an addiction.
Yeah.
So I can let it go by practicing a practice like fasting. You're actually helping yourself to let that go and free yourself from it. This is why I include it in the course, because it's going to help you maybe to free yourself from another addiction that a lot of people have. Keep feeding my face, just blah 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 blah. We don't need to, and so you realize I don't actually need that much food.
No, that I have realized that I don't eat that much. And it's not like I stuff my face, but it's just I like to munch like a little bit here and there.
You like the sensation, so there's I like the taste, I like the sensation. I mean, you're French, so I guess you
we have some nice cheese. I mean,
that's
we
have
have
nice
some
cheese,
nice
and
fromage.
but it's all sensational, isn't it?
It is.
It's an experience. It's a taste in the mouth.
Pleasure, pleasure taste.
Pleasure. So you get addicted to that.
Yeah.
But what that actually does, subtly, is it denies your true awareness. Right? You're going away from true awareness and you're going into a very temporary sensational experience. You're saying, I'm getting my hits from there. That's what makes my life worthwhile. The cheese or the wine or and the more you go there, the more you allow the mind to dwell there, the more addicted you become to these things. And the more your true awareness is covered over, because your true awareness is not associated with sensations. Your true awareness is deeper than that. So the deep peace, the bliss that you can have from being in pure formless awareness is covered over by your addiction to cheese.
Yeah.
Because you choose the cheese rather than pure formless awareness, and that's actually what's going on. You need to just be aware of that.
I was just realizing something as well, like if something is being offered that's burnt, like my mom made this dessert and it was kind of burnt. It's like I don't really prefer eating that. Like I prefer not eating it rather than eating it. So it is a preference.
And he's saying, look, you're going to have preferences in this world because you have to. You make choices. I prefer, raw food to cooked food. I prefer food that's lightly cooked to food that's overcooked. Okay, but if you're faced with the opposite that doesn't meet your expectation, then is there a negative emotional reaction? You go, oh, this shouldn't happen, and there's a strong reaction. If there is, then it's an addiction. You're attached to that, and it's a problem because the ego is attached to it and said, there's the source of my happiness. And now it's not happening, therefore I'm justified in being unhappy, which is how addictions and expectations work. It sets you up for unhappiness, right? The grievance, remember, grievance is not just with a person. Grievance can be with anything. Grievance is my expectation is not met, therefore I have a grievance. So grievances and expectations, grievances and idle wishes, as Yeshua calls them, are co-makers or partners in making the world that you think you see. Your expectations set you up for grievances all the time. Do you see that?
Say that again about the grievance. It's what you just said before.
Your expectations set you up for grievances.
Yeah.
Because now your expectation isn't met, so now you have a justifiable grievance, and you go, oh, well, my expectation wasn't met, so now I have a grievance towards someone or something for my expectation not being met. So now I'm unhappy because the world is not meeting my expectations, my addictive programming. So now, then I suffer because of it. This is why the Buddha noticed that desire is the source of all suffering, because you have the expectation, you set yourself up then for disappointment because life doesn't meet the expectation, and then you have a grievance. Now you have an aversion reaction called a craving and aversion, which takes you away from your true awareness into like, oh, now why is that happening? And now I feel like hardly done by, and now I feel like I'm a victim and life's not working out for me. And that strengthens the separate self, you see? Movement of expectation and the grievance that your expectations aren't met strengthens the self-concept, which keeps you away from pure formless awareness and in the addictive programming of the mind, the ego mind. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So addictions are what he would call idle wishes, your expectations. The idle wishes of the ego. It says, you want cheese already. You want cheese or you want whatever.
Yes, I do.
Instead of, but you don't really. Who wants the cheese? Ask yourself that.
I do.
Who's the I who does want the cheese?
The little self, the little ego self.
So is that really you? That's, so that's what this kind of inquiry does. You start looking, who wants the cheese then? And who suffers when she doesn't have the cheese?
The little Aurélie.
Yes. And can you see how the expectation and the suffering are linked?
Yeah.
They're two sides of the same illusory coin, expectations and grievances. So when you see that, you go, I'm done with that. That's just a stupid program. I keep setting myself up for suffering through my expectations. And I'm doing it unconsciously because I still think somehow that these expectations are going to make me happy. Bring some kind of permanent, sustainable happiness. But surely by now you must have realized that that's not going to be the case, ever. It doesn't work.
I should be grateful to have cheese. I should be grateful to have cheese right now.
So if you can do this and you can let go of the addictive programming around it, then you can eat the cheese, but it doesn't really matter if you don't have it. It's okay. I enjoyed the cheese, but if the cheese isn't there, it's no big deal.
Yeah, it's no big deal. I can eat something else than cheese. It's okay. It's no big deal.
So I'm using it as an example, but the point is, look at the cause of the upset, look at the unhappiness and see where it's arising. And then you start to see your programming, and then you can undo the program because you realize it doesn't serve you.
Yeah.
It says it's vital that you fully understand that growth lies in reprogramming your automatic emotional programming. Not the external circumstances that constitute your addiction. It's only your inner emotional programming that must be changed. You must change your mind towards it. Change your thoughts, change your perception. And that's the miracle when you do that change. And it's fully within your ability to do so, whereas up to now you may have been hopelessly trying to manipulate the outside world to conform to your addictions. That's what most people do. And it's hopeless. You're never gonna achieve happiness that way, because your addictions expectations will continue to be violated. So you'll continue to be unhappy.
Yeah. I mean,
what the Buddha noticed,
I can be.
And he said it's, desire is the source of all suffering because of that. You keep suffering because you keep desiring.
Desiring the cheese. But I think I can go without cheese. I mean, at Vipassana, they didn't give you cheese. It was all right. I didn't die for that. It was okay.
No. So practice going, okay, well, I won't have cheese this week.
It's okay.
It's fine. I'm not attached.
I practice. Yeah, I need to practice. Practice the weeks without cheese. Sorry?
Well, just try not having it. That's how you test it.
Yeah. Practice.
And then see what the reaction is.
Yeah.
And if it's a big reaction, then you go, okay, there's still an attachment there. If there's no reaction or very little reaction, you say, okay, well, it's not a big deal then. It's a preference. I don't really need to talk about it.
I've actually observed myself when I'm at the shop to buy cheese. I've observed myself asking myself, would I be okay if I don't buy it? Oh yeah, I was asking myself actually the question. But I have a choice. So if I have a choice to have it, then I'll choose to have it.
Well, but then sometimes choose not to have it.
Okay.
And see what happens.
Practice not having the cheese. Okay.
Yeah. And then see, because that's you. So what we're doing here is interrupting the pattern of the ego.
Yeah.
Whatever the default pattern is.
Chocolate. Chocolate.
Chocolate. Okay. Yeah. So don't have it then. You know, interrupt it. Don't have it, and then see what happens.
Yeah.
And then you start to see, okay, well, you know, was that an addiction or was it a preference?
Maybe a monster is gonna come out of me. But I have it. Oh my God. Then I have to deal with that. Then I have to deal with that monster.
No. Play with your experience and see what happens. And use these principles as a reference. Okay, well, yeah, I'm addicted because I got unhappy. There was quite a strong emotional reaction. Be honest. You have to be honest with yourself and say, okay, well, then there is an attachment or an addiction there. I've got to face that. If I want to be free, I have to let that go. So let me sit with it, the discomfort of not having it, allow the feelings to arise and be aware of them and then let them go. So, okay, these are just feelings. They're thoughts, they're emotions, they're body sensations. They're not real. It's false programming. Bring awareness into it and it will start to dissipate. Okay, so those are the first three pathways. Some really good stuff, powerful stuff, and it's I think stated. I like this ways he's put it. Very understandable, simple. So use these pathways, try and apply them in your life, and need to be, you know, you're dealing with some kind of security sensation or power addiction during the course, you can reference back to this section in your manual. It's all in your course manual, and read it again and remind yourself. Okay, so any questions, comments on this teaching, on these ideas? No?
Not from me. Oh, and Sally's in her car, and that's why she couldn't speak, because she couldn't get connected to her Bluetooth.
Right, okay. So
she's got to stand up.
Yeah, okay. So I believe we have another session starting about 35 minutes. If you want to do the text.
Really?
If you want to do the text, we'll do that. So let's take a quick break. For those who are going to join, if this is your bundle for today, then thank you for joining, and we'll hopefully see you again tomorrow at the same time.
I've got an event this evening, so I'm going. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And everyone on the call. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you too.
Yeah, thanks, Johnny. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Very cool. Yeah. So who's joining later? You're going to join already?
I'm not sure, actually. I have to see. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, jump on if you can.
Yeah.
I'm going to end the call now, and I'll log on again in half an hour.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye for now.